When we last left off with everyone entering inside of this cave system, a few things happened before any of you really figured out what was exactly going on. It made mention that most of you were, well, for the lack of a better term, people that escaped some type of system. Jail, you escaped jail. There's really no two ways about it. Furthermore, the Drowns are still kind of looking for you, but you have yet to figure out and determine when that will be. You entered the cave system and discovered a few people that were fighting a giant, let's call it a giant albino lobster thing, but decided not to help them because, well, could you really? You don't have exactly the best gear, but you did find a few things here and there. So, skirting around that observation, you managed to find a location where there were 3 prisoners, but only found one still alive. For the lack of a better word, they were just barely alive. Mintius on that end decided to drown them in water, which somehow revived them because they were a merfolk person. They weren't just drowning them for no reason. Maybe. I'm messing with you. They knew. Regardless of that, they managed to bring them back up, and they told you that a few things were not right with the cave system as of now. You done? Freeing. That's true. Figuring this out, you did figure out there were a few other things other than the drow you have to contend with, so you need to watch out. You then decided to further explore the site and found that there was hot fire magma pools in the area. Beforehand, you went a little further south, trying to determine if you can get through that way, but for some reason you decided not to follow the footsteps going through the fiery blaze, which, let's face it, that might not be a good idea, the way I just described it. So you decided to go to a calmer area, but the expanse in the site made you, it made you go creative. Bringing a few more bars into the trap system that the merfolk was trapped in, you managed to make a pike, and Rosalind managed to make a few iron. I think you made chains.
Was it a chain or was it a thing to hold rope against so they could swing over? I forgot what the name of that thing is.
I am generally not sure, but you did make that as well.
Thought it was a pike.
Pike, that's what it was. Yeah, that's
So
what
we
I
could,
mean.
like, pike or something over it.
Yeah.
Well, if it was just a small one, it's called a pinion for rock climbing.
It had to be
What-
big because it has to contain most of your guys' weight. And while most of the team is small, not everyone is. So they needed a more, they
Okay.
have more girth than anything else. Well, half the team at least. NPCs. So, Goth has managed to get onto the roof and climb back down, and now you have a system of levers and pulleys to just swing across this lava pool. Kind of. It is kind of a fat joke, but also the truth, because Shishar the Awakened is a big boy. I believe they were 6'5" and 400 pounds?
Oh, crap.
He is
Oh,
rotund.
yeah, me and Mitius could have thrown him.
So, figuring this out and not deciding to set yourselves on fire and trying to jump it, you can go ahead and roll acrobatics, Gothos, or anyone else decides to go over the fiery pit of lava.
Hot air rises, but it's going to be hotter next to the lava, so you're going to want to keep as high up as you can as I give him advantage in the help action.
I mean,
Alright.
I did pin it to the roof there, but acrobatics, huh? Not athletics? Not
Mm-mm. I mean, unless
Alright.
you're trying to throw someone over,
Am
Or
I able to
leap.
help with this?
you can if you want to, but Ulrich has already done so, so it doesn't really do anything else. Other than give moral support.
No, I was like, maybe my character, because I have good acrobatics, wanted to help out in some way, but no. I'll cheer him on.
Maybe
From a
if you go together, you might be able to, let's say, for example, Gothos fails and almost falls in. You can roll acrobatics again and try to save him. But what are the odds of that happening?
Like my cat reflex dexterity stuff, if he fails, I could jump in and try to catch him before he falls.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. I'll be
Although-
on
Alright.
guard and I'll be on standby.
All
I'll
right.
be keeping my eye on my teammates.
You get a little closer to the Gothos, making sure that they don't fall.
Okay, alright. Yeah, no, I'm capable. Let's see how this goes.
Sure.
Yeah.
You swing over without too much issue. However, as soon as you hit the fiery blaze, Ouch is right. I'll excuse me.
Down the wrong tube.
Yes, I had too much spicy food. Sorry. Jumping over to the other side, I believe it was Ulrich.
Yes.
Okay, because I keep screwing up names. Ulrich managed to guess correctly. The heat rising up in the air managed you to almost swivel and bolt from the side and caused your hands to be not slimy. Well, the dwarf might think slimy, but sweaty is more accurate. So you might have almost slipped if you weren't so prepared. You managed to get onto the other side and, well, unfortunately you did make it sleeker, so it might be difficult for someone else. But you can always tell them that you sweated on the thing.
Yeah, wet it down so it won't burn. You guys are welcome.
All right. And I go up to the rope and then I use prestidigitation to clean it off. Ready for someone else.
All right. Oh no! I just realized that the doctor isn't there. Continue on. I just need to import him and find him again. Who's next?
How about Minitus? Minitus is strong, right?
Yeah.
We just established this is a finesse deal.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on standby for everybody, trying to help them through.
I mean, we could play catch. Who do I try?
Or what do you call it? Oh, what the hell is that thing with the ball? Tetherball. Yeah, tetherball. Huh? Attached to the roof. Toss him over. Rope for insurance.
Do what you may.
I'll go next. I'll go next.
Okay.
All right. Luckily enough, Roswin did clean the thing, so you should be fine, provided you don't do terribly.
Well, Toulouse is on standby, so couldn't, because of her help, he'd get an advantage anyway?
I'm gonna say no.
I think I'm on standby. Like if he fails, I have to roll to try to save.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
I think I forgot.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
Toulouse, go ahead and roll.
Oh, I wasn't ready. I'm like, I'm on standby. Acrobatics, right?
Uh-huh. So, Ulrich has managed. As soon as you manage to grab onto the thing, you remember, yeah, this thing's clean, good to go. So, you jump straight forwards and forget. Oh right, oh giant token. He looks like this now. Don't worry about it. You then remember. All right, I have to make sure I have a good grip and begin to swing straight down. Toulouse is fast enough to bring you back onto the other side without incident. However, you can tell that the heat around you begins to make things a lot more sleeker and slippy. A lot more treacherous. If it wasn't for Toulouse being there, well, maybe things wouldn't have gone so Great. I will say, Toulouse, if you rolled lower, something would have happened. So be glad.
Yeah.
At this point in time, Gothos, you do see that someone is closing distance. Not as if they're trying to attack you, just someone's near. You sense this presence.
On my side of the river?
River pool, magma. Yes.
Yeah, okay, guys, we got a movement on this side. Maybe someone wants to get over here.
I can give it another go.
Well,
If someone wants to wipe it off again. Again, it's sweaty. It's hot here.
Yeah. And I go clean it off again.
You gotta clean it off, however, this time it does seem to be staying for a little longer than you would prefer. But you do manage to clean it, so the more times you likely fail, the harder this becomes.
Alright, this time I'm gonna get it like a running start, and I'm not gonna try and swing on it too long. Just use it just enough to get to the other side, and then jump off.
Alright. Nice. Without too much incident, you do manage to get onto the other side. Sweaty palms and all. However, you do manage to get there. I'm assuming you're throwing it back or deciding to bail and just take Gothos with you.
No, I'll toss it back.
Okay. At this point, I'm just gonna roll 5 times.
Oh boy.
Toulouse, go ahead and roll twice. Acrobatics.
oh,
Uh-oh.
Okay. The kids make it fine, just fine without too much incident. Excluding Mintius, of course. Shishar makes it not a problem. Aldeth slips, hits the lava. Toulouse, you're not fast enough. Drags
Oops.
themselves out and takes 3d6 points of fire damage.
Oh no. How unfortunate.
Okay. Anyone else?
I mean, I've been cleaning the thing off, so I might as well be kind of like closer to the last.
Well, the doctor looks towards the rest of you and then simply states, "There's a few things we could probably do. I suppose if anyone has some sort of rope along with the metal chain, we could link it to the other side and almost form some sort of daisy chain. And instead of swinging over there, we just get pulled in.
Did somebody actually have chains?
I think you made chains, and that's just how you're swinging. No one had enough rope to make a rope swing.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. I didn't remember that part. Okay.
It has been a while, and this is honestly just off the top of my head because I forgot to review it because I think the recording got screwed up halfway through.
Well, that's
So
right.
yeah. If anyone has any rope, tie it to it, and then send it over.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will just pull them over on our end.
Ulrich, at this point, you do see someone coming over from the southwest direction.
Venturi about it?
Okay.
They-
Okay,
They
children,
don't seem to
get
be
behind me.
drow. They don't seem to be Durgar. They just seem to be a short, stout individual just coming your way, roaming around you rather than coming towards you. However, they do get closer to the fire. For whatever reason.
Just gonna let them do them for a bit. Figure that out.
All right.
Well, if that's the case, then I guess I'll cast Mage Hand to help with, putting together the chain and rope, and then passing it over to Aldridge with the Mage Hand so that he can hold it on that side.
All right. At this
Yeah,
point in
I'll,
time, the person is roughly 15 feet away from you guys.
I'll secure the knot to the chain. and send the chain back across. And Shushar, would he help pull people across? He's quite big, right?
They
Yeah, how-
are quite big, but
How tall are they?
6 feet. So they can pull you, and anyone that goes does have advantage. I'm just gonna say new player because they don't technically know your name yet. New player, is that the item you kept?
Oh, no. The item I kept had to be my pendant.
Okay. Then no.
Okay. So I don't have anything else, and I just escaped as well.
Well, we'll get back to that as soon as you introduce you, but that's
Okay.
all you currently have so far.
Okay.
So the rope swing is basically sustained. Anyone else going?
Yeah, I'm going.
All right. So go ahead and roll acrobatics with advantage, thanks to the new pulley system.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
Toulouse, go ahead and roll acrobatics.
Yeah.
You're so lucky Toulouse is doing so well.
I'm like, every time I'm like, oh, please.
You jump in and Toulouse immediately grabs onto the rope and basically whips it, so you just get flung over to the other side.
Whip.
I'm just gonna have Antidote and Aldith roll. So Aldith manages to get there without setting herself on fire this time, and Antidote rolls a 9 and a natural 20, so he makes it there just fine. Toulouse and Mintius.
Time to go. Nope.
Jeez.
Oh my
Can
god.
I jump over on myself with this one? Call it done.
Okay, you roll a natural 20, and this is taking too long, so, and getting people too hurt. So, Toulouse, you managed to save Mintius, not the same way as anyone else. You managed to grab onto him as he's beginning to fall. Almost, not princess style, but like pirate captain style, where you have him shoulder to shoulder, holding onto his hip and swing over on the other side.
Nice. Yeah.
Say, just Adventures of Sinbad at that one.
Okay, at this point,
Yeah.
everyone's here, and there's a new guy just standing there.
Just kind of watching all you try and get across the fire.
Hey, how's it going there? I'm kind of looking at you a little bit weird. Kind of like I don't know if you're friendly or not.
I'm not being threatening.
From what,
Actually, okay.
from what you can tell from this individual, they aren't exactly in the best. Well, they are fit, but they're not exactly armed to the teeth.
Well, do you need some help? Cause we're kind of trying to make a way out.
Just out of curiosity, would I know a way out?
No, but just to make this funnier, I'm gonna tell you what they missed and screwed up. So, for a while there, you managed to. Let's see here. This is this character. I'm gonna quickly open your character sheet to make sure it's the one I'm thinking of. Yes. So, man, I want to use your name, but you don't technically. The players don't really know, and I'm not sure how you're gonna play this. So, new player.
Okay.
Coming
Yes.
through the cave system, you managed to get through without too much of an incident, but you were, at one point or another, captured by the Drow here. They're not exactly the nicest people, but when the prison, well, a few hours ago when there was a prison riot, supposedly on your end, there came a strange group that began to break other cage systems and let yours loose. You went to wander around and managed to find your pendant into a strange locked box, along with 10 gold. So go ahead and add 10 gold to your inventory. if you want it or not. Depends on if you decided to take it.
Yeah.
Okay. Along the way, looking around, you managed to find a drow just monologuing into a cage system. He was weird. You didn't talk to him, so you ventured on forwards.
We thought he was weird too.
Getting to the cave system, you managed to find what appeared to be this area without too much of an incident. However, exploring the site, you did manage to find that the area further south was set ablaze, and it felt like heat was burning onto you, and there was a strange sensation around it. However, you did see footsteps going through it. So, braving the fire and based on your lineage, you managed to get through without an incident. In fact, for some reason, the fire didn't attack you. Maybe it has something to do with who you are, or maybe because it was an illusion. Either way, you managed to get through just fine and figured out that it was an illusion. The rest of the team doesn't know that, though. So,
Okay.
further down the fire escape, coming from the cave system you were just at, there wasn't really much there. In fact, the only thing you found were small pockets of fairy rings, which are basically mushrooms in a circle. Other
Okay.
than that, there was nothing really there of value. So you came back where you found these individuals that, well, they don't look that great either. Some of them have stolen drow guard gear. Some of them have stolen weapons. You can tell because they have the insignia of the drow and Lolth, the spider deity. Unless they're really into... Man, I forgot the term, but cultural something. Doesn't
Cultural
matter.
appropriation.
Thank you. They might be super into that.
Okay. I don't know about cultural appropriation. My background doesn't give me much education, Mum.
That's
But
fair.
I kind of walk over. You guys started the riot, didn't you?
That was Toulouse.
I mean, to be fair, we all kind of participated in the riot.
Well, thank you. It let me out of my cage too. Why were you having such difficulty with the fire there?
Because it's fire.
It's
Why
hot.
else?
Well, yeah, that reminds me, Mintius, you want to like pull down the chain?
I should be
Oh, yeah.
specific. The area you went through the first time was an illusion. That area you just went towards,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel the same.
Oh, wait a second. You mean down here there was more fire? I'm
Yes.
having a little trouble with your map understanding. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I thought I was watching them go through an illusion.
Sorry, I thought I was pointing with the arrow signal. Maybe I'm on the wrong layer.
Probably not
so
zoomed
that
out enough.
Oh,
vacant
okay.
spot there is the spot that is illusion-ish.
Yes.
Okay, that blue ring. All right.
Yeah, we've
We
kind
had-
of
I can
gone
see your green arrow
around
now.
through imaginary fire.
Oh,
We had
okay.
to
In that
decide
case,
to
never
go-
mind. I didn't do that then.
Yeah. I just wanted to warn you because you did see Eldith fall into it and take damage.
Okay.
Not all of it's on fire though, which is why I'm telling you.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
we had like 3 different ways we could have gone, and we chose this one.
Okay.
We chose
Um,
wrong.
Oh, but like I said, with my Underdark background, did I have any clue on a direction to escape?
More or less, you can tell that the area here is not common. In fact, for some reason, the cave systems seem to be shifting. For one reason or another. So you can't have exact information, mainly because the drow, what they do is knock you out and relocate you.
Okay.
So you might have an inkling of where, more or less where north is? No, wait, you're not a dwarf. More or less where something is if you find a location well enough. But right now, you need to get it, you need to explore further or wish for the best.
Okay. Anyway, I say thank you. You know, you freed me from my cage too.
Yeah, okay. Well, you look pretty comfortable down here, guy. Maybe kind of scout ahead, help the group, kind of a thing. We're heading back to this little mushroom fella's town.
Okay, which, wait, like you mean the fairy ring mushrooms or some other mushroom town?
I've never been. You'd have to get close to him and get infected with spores to talk about it. I'm the goblin speaking, by the way, Gothos. Nice to meet you.
Oh, okay.
Roswin over here, and I just wave a little hand over.
Okay. I just kind of put my hand up.
Toulouse here. And the cat one.
The cat
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Cat
Yeah,
boys are
I'll
evil.
shake your hand there, pal. Alright.
That's back.
I flinch
But-
back. Hold on.
You're the one who put your hand down. Oh yeah, I guess imprisonment does that to people without indomitable spirit. Anyway,
Let's see here. No, she's not gonna make a cursory remark on this one. So ignore what I just said. In the meantime, Mintius does manage to grab the rope, the chain, and the pike. The chain and the pike will probably disappear in a while. I think an hour. But they're good for now.
just gonna like erupt into a bunch of rusty iron bars.
But basically, everyone introducing themselves. There's Stool, a giant mushroom thing, Topsy and Turvy, two children, Duragar, Shishar the Awakened, who is probably the biggest one out of the entire group, Ulrich, I'm gonna get that screwed up, who is the second tallest, but still not that tall. Mintius, the Minotaur, Toulouse, the cat, the cat one, Antidote, who's probably the only medic here, Roswin, and I believe you met Gothos and shrieked away from him.
Yeah. No, I just flinched back. I didn't shriek or nothing. It was just a step.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I meant shrink. Whatever. It's a colloquial term, so it doesn't really matter. Either way. Antidote then states, well, do you you mentioned something about a fairy ring?
Yes, there was fairy ring, and I point down to the direction it was. As you guys get closer, you realize that he doesn't look like a normal halfling. He actually has kind of a shine to his skin.
What hue is that? It sounds like the most racist thing ever to ask what skin color you are, but
Well, if you get closer and examine, you'll realize that it's tiny, 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 tiny bronze golden scales, like snake skin, covering almost all of his body except his face.
Yeah, Roswin would probably have immediately gone to your arm and start looking at it, trying to he's like, ooh.
Antidote would probably do the same thing, if I'm going to be honest. But based on how he reacted towards Gothos, he decides not to. So Roswin's just the only one up in their face.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay, and Roswin's, wait a second, how tall are you, Roswin?
Tiny 3-something. Hold on.
I'm 3'1". If
another
you're,
gnome.
I was gonna say no, not a halfling, but if you're about the same size, I won't be nearly as threatened.
Yeah, no, she's a freaking gnome. She's
Okay.
she's tiny. Yeah.
All right, then I have less problems if you're not imposing.
Oh yeah, no, she's just she won't literally go ahead and touch you. She's just gonna kind of really just stare your arm, kind of trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Okay.
For the record, Gothos 100% thinks that you're just a kobold hybrid.
Whoa, that is close to the mark. Damn, I didn't think it would. Okay.
No.
well, Stool says something, but Milo can't really hear it. So they simply state in most of you guys' heads, do you mind if if they take us to the ring, I might be able to communicate somehow. Maybe find a way out? Maybe. It might not be the same network I have, though.
Yeah, I can show you to the ring. I start going down in that direction. Oh, what's that?
No, I was just saying I don't think it's a half bad idea. We should probably go before people are looking for us.
Yeah. Also, this
that's-
room is full of lava and not nice.
Okay. So you all make it down south. Anyone that's rolling stealth, go ahead and roll stealth. I will tell you, Milo, that while you were down there, no one was there. At least no humanoid was there.
That don't matter. I'm still going to be sneaky and stick to the walls and try not to get caught.
Underdark, perfectly fine.
Yeah, Underdark.
Jeez.
Underdark, and probably the first time in a long time I haven't had to roll stealth with disadvantage.
Milo, this way. Follow the
Which way?
group of NPCs.
Oh, okay. I'll let you pick them up. Or pick me up too. Everybody's moving
Okay.
in sequence.
Toulouse is enjoying not having to be the,
Be the one up
the
front.
one in front. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm not gonna drag you to the next map, but I need to copy you first. So I'm gonna move
This
the
is
fire.
just- Who's just doing like the really satisfied walk of someone who just saved like 10 people from literal burning to death?
Yeah, just like, okay, don't expect much more out of me right now.
Okay, I'm gonna change the tone of music and get you guys to this map.
Hey, you can see it.
Awesome! It's a map.
I normally have maps.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I was teasing. It was just a little joker.
That was actually like probably the third time in about a year and a half that Dogma hasn't had a map.
Okay.
And then you had one for his last time there, so.
I was reorganizing things. Forgot to put other things back in. That's why Antidote disappeared and now he looks different. You managed to make it into the next cave system. Shut up, Mintius. But you're not wrong. I will tell you, you go south, follow along, and get towards this next area. So, west, south, and continue south. Anywhere else you want to explore, you're perfectly fine and welcome to. You are stealth up, so whatever you do, yeah, more or less you'll have advantage as long as you don't overexpose yourselves.
Right now we're trying to get to some circle thing, right? For the thingy to tell us where to get to its mushroom village.
Well,
What is that?
Fairy,
Right.
a fairy circle, which is a circle of mushrooms, yes.
Sorry.
I mean,
Like,
you're
am I
not wrong.
remembering this right?
Going after the shrooms.
What is this thing right here that I'm looking at?
That is a different site you didn't explore, so if you want to explore it, you can go ahead and do so. That being said, the current thing you can see seems to be a strange stone of fire and brimstone, surrounded by what appears to be another circlet of symbolism that you're not familiar with, but it seems more artistic rather than archaic. Archonic, sorry. A little thing about me is I screw up my words a lot, so you're gonna have to deal with that for a while.
I do the exact same thing on a regular basis.
How
Fair enough.
dare you not have perfect diction, sir?
But alongside that circle is another circle with then archonic inscription.
Arcane.
God
I believe is the word you're
damn
looking
it.
for.
This is when
So,
I need to.
circle what appears to be magic, a circle what appears to be of art, and a fiery brimstone stone.
Can I take a peek and see if any of this is religious in nature?
The artwork or the magic circles?
The artwork.
Yeah,
Leave
go
the
ahead
other
and roll
one to the
religion.
expert.
Can I investigate the circles with Arcana?
Go ahead and roll Arcana.
Look at us looking at things, knowing stuff.
Can I do anything with history by chance?
I mean, I suppose an archaeologist could see the artwork historically. Yeah, sure, go ahead. I mean, not the magic, but the art. In the meantime, Mintius decides to go south. More on that later. I was about to say Soap, but that's not your character's name. Gothos, examining the religious context of the artwork itself, it does seem to have depictions of what appears to be a spider queen with religious connotation, as individuals in front of said being are bowing down to it, as she extends herself in almost a fighting pose with stagger aiming towards another individual. On the other side seems to be a giant demon-like creature, but no connotation towards that seems to be existing in your historical context or religious view. However, based on these two symbols, it does seem to be Loth the spider, a deity of the drow, and some strange demonic pit fiend demon. Which one it is, you're not exactly sure, but for that to be here is strange in and of itself, and should not exist based on anything you know. Roswin, examining the arcanic nature of this first ring, you can determine that there are strange spells inscribed on it that are keeping some strange system of circular nature, basically a continuous loop of magic going. The magic itself seems to be prestidigitation, thaumaturgy, heat metal, mold earth, all fused together and doing something. What exactly it is, you're not sure, but it might have to do with the burning rock in the middle of said circles. I was about to say Huntsman, but that's not your character. I've already made this joke already. Ulrich, examining the historical context of this, you can determine what Gothos got. However, based on your own historical context clues, why this is here, it's not exactly history. It's more of a prophecy-like structure.
And
Yeah. Yeah, go
the
ahead.
heat of it and everything. Can we get up to here and we're still safe from the ring or whatever, the thing that's in the center?
Yes, you get on top of the arcanic circle and the heat is still there, but it's not affecting you. It's not like sending out a fireball towards you or anything.
And does it look like it does in the map in terms of it looks like just a pool of, I guess, magma, but that's cooling off and it's just like laying there? Or is it something solid?
It's like a giant stone that has cracks of magma inside of it.
Okay.
In the meantime,
I mean, yeah, basically all this Loth stuff, Loth defeats everyone. It's probably a prison or a portal. I'm bored.
maybe. Mintius, what are you doing?
I'm kind of
Down that way farther is the ring.
I'm scouting ahead and looking down this way.
Okay, that's the opposite direction of what Milo just said.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, go ahead and give me a perception check then.
Yay.
Examining the area, you can tell that there are stairs right in front of you, about 10 feet away. They're going down. There's also 2 walls adjacent to the steps.
Why do I have this sudden urge to stab the DM?
Oh, sorry, you got a 9. You also said these set of stairs. Oh, and these
now
2
I
walls.
really want to fucking stab you.
No, you don't see anything. Other than your own anger.
I'm not raging.
But no, you don't really find anything.
So I'm gonna kind of keep sneaking on down this way and looking. Is it getting warmer as I get down this way?
As you get further south, you manage to get a little warmer, almost like not a sauna, but like when you open the door and it's a humid day out.
All right. Just I keep creeping down slowly.
As you begin to get further down, it does feel more humid, and at this point, you do see the wall on the walls and the ground seem to have fissures of magma lining through them. Nothing's set on fire, and you can easily step on them without, setting your feet on fire. I don't think you have shoes, but you should be fine. It's hot here,
I am a minotaur. I have hooves.
though. You can have shoes on hooves. I think that's horseshoes.
No. Well, yeah, but I'm a minotaur.
Yes. But no, they're not currently burning your feet or your flesh. It's just there. It's visibly there. You can see it. You can feel it, and it does now feel like a sauna here. Minus the smoke. Steam.
There we go. That's better. Just keep an eye out.
As you're keeping an eye out and getting closer to this fissure system, you can tell that at a few instances here and there, you do see something in a split second move through these fissures in the same type of style of elongated movement. You're not exactly sure what they are, but you can tell that they're about the size of a snake going through the magma pools. Maybe not in the magma, but through the cracks.
Gonna start to back up. Seeing that, because yeah. Then pretty much go back to the group. Says, guys, I found something.
All right. While you're heading back here, Toulouse, is there anything you're doing?
Well, I guess wondering what minute. I'm gonna say
Minty.
wrong. Mint.
Is there anything in the area that? Oh, sorry, you were talking. You're really quiet. I couldn't tell you were talking.
I'm sorry. Let me turn that up. That's my fault.
Okay.
But yeah, I was just. I guess when he comes back, I guess I'd just be like, "Oh, what did you find over there?"
Okay. Okay, Mentius.
But yeah, there's something over there in the fire. I don't know what it was, but it was moving around
There's something
Wait.
in the fire?
in the
Moving?
fire. Yes.
You're sure about that?
Yes.
Huh. Can
Should we try and avoid it? Just try and go straight to the ring, or should we have to deal with that first?
I would say let's go for the ring. We're just here to find our way out. We're trying to escape, right?
Yeah, I vote that we go for the ring before, something that's made of fire itself burns the ring down.
I like that idea.
So, I'm gonna go watch that stairway just in case, and you guys can go towards the ring, and I'll take up the rear.
Okay.
The ring's in the green area, right? Or
Yeah.
where?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's that actual illuminated section of said map.
Mhm.
And I'm just gonna keep watch while everyone starts moving down that way.
Okay. Basically dragging NPCs and Ulrich. I always drag one PC. Last time was Toulouse.
Yeah, come on, Stool, the most unfortunately named mushroom I know.
Oh, that is very sad.
Yeah, I didn't even name him. The module did.
It's supposed to be like Toadstool.
I know. Still terrible.
But it just sounds like a
Failed
poop.
miserably.
They could have they could have gone with Toady.
Right. As Minty has managed to observe the area of what might be lava snakes, or maybe something akin to it, everyone else manages to make it to the ring of mushrooms. As soon as that happens, Stool manages to get closer to it, and then shoots out his spores. Unfortunately, it does hit. Oh, you changed your name. So I'm just going to use that one.
Yeah, you had to check the backstory. Milo's unknown.
Oops. My bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the backstory, but I didn't know if you used that name or just anyone
Oh.
else.
No, actually, I don't even know that name yet. It's actually here. I'll go ahead and share this part because somebody already made a awesome joke, and I didn't even give them a setup for it yet.
I'm bitter about my kobold character being in a campaign that died.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, here, copy,
Okay.
paste,
Okay.
enter. This. Oh, sorry. That's the excerpt from my backstory.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. I just didn't know if they used that name or.
That's the only name I know right now.
Oh, right. My bad. So ignore what I said. This has always been the name.
Kobo.
Right. So Kobo, Stool shoots out some spores, and it does hit you. It doesn't kill you. It doesn't poison you. They're just able to communicate with you now. But they were mainly doing it for the fairy ring. But they begin to speak with that rather than speaking with you or Toulouse or Roswin, who probably also got hit. Gothos decides to get closer to try to get hit again.
I love those spores, man.
Like, here, you have some of mine. I'm like rubbing them on you.
But after a good minute and a half, Stool comes back, and now that everyone can actually communicate with him, Minty's might be too far away, but I'm just going to say he's close enough that Stool can talk with him. They're just quieter, which is worse. So, as they
We
begin to
lost
state...
them that way.
Yeah. Stool then states, they don't exactly know where we are. They don't exactly move. But from what they can tell me, that there are some creatures in the area. If we go further south, there might be a stairwell system there. Apparently some people come through here once in a while, but they can't really sense who or what they are. They just move through the area. But there are some things in the area that stay here. I think they call them insects, but a lot of them. I think some of the people that went through here, some of them said that they carried some diseases or vermin. I think they used the language. So we need to be careful around the area. Do not disturb too much.
They give you any sort of a landmark, any heading towards your village?
Stool I was going to say shakes their head, but they kind of don't have one. Stool just simply states, no. They just note that there people come in and out further south, and they stated there might be a staircase area, as their routes seem to go further south, further down.
You said it's further south, and it looks like we're about as south as we can get here. Can I make a perception check to just see this general... I don't know if it's a perception or investigation to kind of see this entire space out.
Actually, we can go down this way further, but I don't know where you're mapping there.
You go southeast.
Examining the area, Roswin, go ahead and roll a perception check. Nice. You can go further south. In fact, looking at the water area next to it, there is a tunnel system that you do need to swim through. That's not an option. However, you can tell that there's some strange fish in there, but that you might need to watch out for. But through that tunnel, there seems to be fire set So someone does go through here. That's not the main concern. So this is likely where the fairy ring was talking about. But further through, you can make the vague gesture of staircase, which for some reason Mintius loathes right now.
I let everybody know about what I've just found. But as far as the fish go, does it look similar to the other pool that we were at before?
No, they seem bigger and meaner.
Awesome. Cool.
Did you have a problem with fish in the past?
No, not exactly. There was just a bunch of fish in the pool that we were at earlier, and it was kind of weird. Like, not, but they were tiny though. These look a little bit more rough. Like, something's up with these. And I let everybody else know about the fish.
Okay, yeah. So
Can-
we have some children and a walking
Can-
mushroom.
I try something?
Okay. What are you trying to do, Mintius? And does it involve the children and walking mushroom? Oh, while you come back, Mintius, you, Gothos, Toulouse, and Ulrich all see Antidote go to the post you were at.
Someone should
Oh,
check
no.
on him.
Hey,
We s-
wait, guy, why are you?
We're going to get him.
I mean, Gothos and Ulrich, you can still see him. He's not doing anything. He's just standing on the rock.
But do we sense the thing moving underneath the grounds that Mintius mentioned earlier?
In the area you're at, no.
Okay, you guys. I'm gonna. Okay, Antidote, what are you doing over there? Mintius said it was maybe dangerous. You're the only one of us who knows how to heal.
He turns around. You do see he has what appears to be a beaker. Well, not a beaker. A test tube. I think yes, test tube. Those are the long ones. With what appears to be a sample of sediment in his now hand. You do see him unlatch another compartment from his mask that he's now carrying on his side because he's not wearing it anymore. Puts it in, latches it back, and goes, sample. And Mintius did say that this was dangerous, and, well, we need someone watching over it. Do you want to? I'm more than free to go back.
Yeah, okay, fine. I'll stay here. You go back and ask the big fish guy if he knows anything about the angry fish.
Isn't he like a good 30 minutes back north?
No, there's new angry fish. See, this is why you don't leave the room.
All right. He heads back. Ignores the racist lady and goes to Ulrich. Gothos mentioned new angry fish people?
I did not say people.
He interpreted people. The way you were phrasing things. Do you know where they are? You wanted me to communicate with them.
God, this guy. I wanted him to ask what's the bountiful. The hell's his name? Takbar the Awakened. Anyway.
Yes, well, the only fish person I know of is Shushar there. And I kind of point to Shushar.
Well, he's not angry, so he goes around asking other people. No one seems to know what Gothos was talking about. Until he gets to Roswin, and she just points at the angry fish. It gets misinterpreted. I can't speak with them, though. Mintius, are you speaking with said animals?
Yes.
Okay. Well, they now know you're there because you casted a magic spell. So. You do see that there is a pool of fish in the area, And now, because you talk to them, you basically come up to water and near you, making them bigger so you can see. They seem to be more or less piranha, but a lot more dangerous looking. And a lot more feral. You can probably still communicate with them. That's not an issue. But it's probably going to be hard to be diplomatic with them. But some of them come up to you and then go, hungry, 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 hungry. Do you have meat? Are you meat? Are you edible?
No, I'm no edible.
Some of them begin to swing away, and then one comes towards you and then goes, are you sure? You sound like other things that we see here come by water. And they're edible. Sometimes we take one and eat. They're taller and a lot ganglier. Sometimes in chains.
Oh. Yeah, we don't have any of those. We need to get through here, though. Would you let us without trying to eat us?
Some of them begin to ponder and talk in almost schools. Basically consider them cliques. And then some of them come towards you and then states, you have sacrificed? People give us meat in order to get through without problem.
I mean, I know one that loved to sacrifice. Sorry.
Wow.
So I was like,
We're considering murder just to go through. Cool.
It's a racist dwarf. You don't need her.
Wow.
True.
It's not like we already declined to help her whole family from death at the hands of an albino spider.
To be fair,
Destroy
group.
the most.
And you don't, not even sure if that was her group because you never interacted with said group. But that's neither here or there. So the fish just look towards Mintius, wondering how they're going to respond.
Just out of
Alright.
curiosity, how big are these fish? Like their mouth and teeth?
The mouth and teeth are pretty big. Think maybe football size. American
okay.
football size.
Yeah.
So they're
Okay.
pretty big fish, and the mouth expands around the same width and height as the said football.
Okay.
Kind of look over to Mencius and just go like, what are they telling you?
We want to sacrifice.
Or they want a meal specifically, but
No,
they're
they
phrasing it
want a
as
meal.
sacrifice.
You said sacrifice, so that's
yes,
what
yes,
I read.
that's why I'm saying it's totally fine for you to say sacrifice, but based on how they're saying things, they just want something to eat. Or someone.
Namely, they want food, which would be one of us.
Don't look at me.
Could you convince them that to eat one of their own? Maybe.
I was actually thinking that. So yeah, I'm gonna turn back and, there's quite a few of you here. You could just eat one of them.
You suggest that, and some of them do state towards you in almost an echo sign. We do. We eat a lot. We hunger. Which is probably why they're feral.
Rosalind's gonna try something stupid. She's gonna go up next to Mencius because she doesn't understand what's going on, but she's gonna use minor illusion to put just a slab of meat on her hand and kind of say like, maybe you can kind of tell them that we can promise them more than this if we can pass through first safely.
Has it been an hour?
It has been an hour at this point in time, probably.
So that chain goes twang, 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 twang.
And it turns back into a metal bar.
Yes, 2 metal bars to be specific, because you broke a good amount of them. The pike turns into almost a billy club sized bar of metal.
How'd you do that? Who did that?
I guess Mintius, since they're currently holding them.
Well, no, I actually ponder that to the rest of the party.
Oh, yeah. Well, they have said items.
Oh no, yeah, that was Rosman. She's sort of a master of the material world.
Oh,
Kind of just touch your heads.
a mage. And you can turn things into other things.
Just for a little while.
I walk over to a good-sized rock. Just a rock on the ground, and I pick it up
You pick
and
up
I bring
said
it back over to her.
rock. Okay.
Turn
you-
this into meat.
Can I?
Actually, I'm a wizard in a different game, and I'm very familiar with alchemy. Yeah, you can do it.
No. Specifically.
No, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Look, I'm
Oh.
leaving it to DM rules.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
Go ahead and post what that spell was. I honestly forgot what it was. I think it was transmutation. I honestly forgot.
Yeah, hold
Yeah,
on.
it's
Yeah, it's
transmutation
kind of a
minor
transmutation.
alchemy. For 1 hour, you can turn any object into another type of object. The most easy way to use it would be to take a steel bar and turn it into clay, and then mold something out of clay. And then when it turns back into steel, it stays the same shape.
That's the thing, though, that on this thing it says it's very specific. It says entirely out of wood, stone, iron, copper. So that's the things that I can
Yeah.
transform into, but it doesn't.
How to transform from, like this stone.
But I don't know. I guess that's what I'm saying. Like it's DM discretion here of what's the limit to it, because I don't know if it can really do everything.
Well, you can turn it into like a single
Says
synthetic.
here-
Instead of something like meat, you could try lard.
It says here a different one of those materials, so it lays
Oh,
out
mhm.
so-
exactly.
Oh, so she can't turn things into other
Yeah.
things.
That's why I wanted to be careful with that. Like I didn't
Mhm.
know
Okay.
exactly what that.
I'm
What?
just trying to figure out the rules. I don't know what the house rules are.
No,
No.
that's perfectly fine. That's why I need specific wording on this. Well, Minties can tell you that they're stupid and feral, so that's not an issue. The issue is turning this into meat. However, if you have someone with, say, some type
Butcher
of
skills?
artisan tools, well, at least proficiency with it, you don't necessarily need the tools, but if you have the training, they could help you shape said material into what would be a facsimile of meat. Maybe it wouldn't be meat, but it would look like it, which might be enough to fool these really messed up fish.
Does anybody happen to have any? Okay, so she kind of looks around and kind of like holds the thing that Kobo has, but kind of looks over to the rest. Like, do anybody have any kind of proficiency in anything that could help me here?
Okay, wait, you're trying to get them to go after some meat that's not meat?
Well, the idea is to make them believe that we do got the stuff they want, but
Okay,
so long as they let us through first.
and you already
may have
established that they're
something.
cannibals?
I was just gonna say that. Why don't we kill one of them and see if they just go after that body?
Well, I mean, as a rogue, you have
They
sneak
did say they-
attack, so...
They did say they were very hungry, so they might need more than one of them. But if we sat
Well,
here and
if
caught a
anything-
few fish, then we could feed them the fish.
If anything, we could always use it as a backup plan if they don't go for the fake bait.
Just start a feeding frenzy near the shore and we'll just kill them all.
How strong do they look?
They look sturdy, Mintius, you were saying?
Roswin, I might be able to help you.
Do you got
Right.
something?
I know how to use disguise kits.
I mean,
That
would
could
that
be.
be a way?
I mean,
Okay.
it's not artisan tools, but it's a good enough proficiency and a good enough loophole in
And
my
forgery kits.
that it would be. It would be
If
good.
I used
I can say I have disguise as well, if that would help
person-
with them.
also
Disguise
if
it
I,
as.
Toulouse, you were saying?
if I used something like charmed person, or would that work on one of them, or are they too much like a not a human?
They're too much not a human.
That's what I was wondering. Okay, never mind.
Also, keep in mind that any spells that have an M on it, unless you've got the component, because that's something I'm having to keep a track of, you may or may not be able to cast it. So the only things I'm using right now are things that have a V or an S to them because they don't require material components so far.
Yeah.
That being
How's
said,
the
though,
habits drizzle on that? Yeah.
Mintians and Roswin, you can try to make a facsimile of said meat. However, you will need to make an artisan roll.
So that would be on
Oh,
Mintus.
no, sorry. I forgot which tools you had, Mintius. But one of those rolls.
Okay, I did say I do have a disguise. Well, it says disguise kit, but just
Yeah, that's the same thing that
disguising it.
Mintus. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what Mintus
Yeah.
has to. So yeah, let him roll, and then we'll
Yeah.
see how.
So what am I rolling
Can I use
on
the help
this?
action to give
Yeah.
him advantage?
Depending on what tools, tool skills you're using, Mintius. I'm sure you've seen a slab of meat before.
Yeah.
So
I'm
basically,
gonna-
you're shaping the material while Roswin is molding, allowing the material to mold.
All right. So what should I roll for this? Because I forgot to set up
Deception.
anything for this. Deception.
Can I use the help action since I'm also skilled with that to give him advantage on the roll?
Yes. Nice. You managed to make a large stone into meat. However, this might be enough to fool one or two of the schools. So you would need to make more. But this will at least distract some of them. Maybe not all of them, but some of them. So you could probably just swim through if you felt like this was enough. And they might have some sort of disadvantage against attacking, or not enough of them would be able to attack to kill you outright in an instant. Or you can always make more. Up to you. However, Roswin, Toulouse, because you were keeping track, it has passed 4 hours, so at this point, even without the riot, they would at this point become looking for you.
Oh, man.
Crap.
Guys, we gotta move.
I look
So
over
we
to
can
Mintus
bribe
and-
them with the food, and then one of us can spike the water on the other end with a bit of blood, and that
Does
should keep.
anybody have any shocking magic?
I can try to get through.
No shocking magic from me. Sorry.
No, you guys do your plan. Like you guys are good. We're good. We got this. Let's do it.
Okay. What is it? Sean the Awakened. Sorry, it's overlapping. But you got any advice here, pal? I mean, you know the Underdark.
I've never seen these type of fish be so feral. While I do not condone this, it's possible we can distract them with some type of sound in the distance, or from side to side, and I'll quickly try to run through. But that might also...
Actually, sorry. What's the setup here? There's a rock wall in the way, and we have to swim underneath it to get to this side.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. What about this rock wall here? Is it just like straight down from the ceiling, or is there a space over the top?
It's part of the ceiling itself. Going under would be the only way to go through, that you know of.
Well, if there's a gap or something, I might have a different way. That's why I was asking.
There might be a gap if you want to try to climb the roof and see, but...
Like right over here, it looks like it's looser, or right over here. It looks like it doesn't quite come down. I'm not sure.
Do you want to try to go athletics-wise, trying to climb up it and see?
If I have to climb up, I'll climb up, but otherwise I was just trying to look and see. All I have to do is be able to see it.
Go ahead and roll perception, I suppose.
Okay.
From what you can tell, it does look like there's something there, but not big. Roughly around, maybe 5 to 3 inches of a divot there, but you're not sure how deep it goes through.
Okay. Should I go ahead and climb up then to see if I can find a hole over the top?
If you like, it's entirely up to you, but that would be an athletics check to climb up there.
Yeah, that's all well and good, but again,
But
walking mushroom children, giant fish person.
Yeah, and that's why Miss Pendragon would make another rope out of the stuff she's got. However, she did that before.
Well, it took 10 minutes and a bit of magic.
Yeah.
But that thing is, I think it's a concentration for an hour, so I can't really do any other thing with it.
we're not trying the distraction thing.
That didn't work.
Well, you have it
I
set.
thought, you know,
Oh.
You do.
Oh,
You do.
Do I catch? Do I
Um,
catch him down?
No, because you didn't mention beforehand, so I'm going to be
Oof.
mean in this case.
okay.
Kobo, go ahead
don't
and
know
roll
where
for
I
me a
fall
dexterity
from.
saving throw. Yeah, that's the problem.
Surety.
As soon as Kobos. Oh, never mind.
You begin to go towards the north area and you begin to see some vines. You climb onto them, however, they begin to snap along the area. As soon as that happens, this school of fish begins to go straight for your toes. You manage to get out of the area, but they do not even bite you, but they, like a cat, nuzzle your feet, which causes some bleeding on the tip of your toes. You take 1d6 plus 3. I guess this would be slashing damage.
Actually, that's what I was going to ask because of my natural AC.
What do you mean? Like your resistances?
No, natural AC. My scales are actual armor. Completely butt naked. I have an armor class of 16.
No,
They
no.
have to bite through it.
No, that's fine. This is an environmental situation.
Oh, okay. I thought they were attacking my feet.
No, if I would have done that, something else would have happened.
Oh, okay.
I see that, and I use precipitation to do some sort of noise on the opposite side to try and just diffuse the situation there and try and see if I can get any of them away.
All right, as you do that, this pool next to Kobo swims over, but not far enough away. This one, however, does go through, and this one goes back 10 feet. And then, seeing as that school's there, decides to come back.
Yeah, alright, I mean, seeing how they reacted to that a little bit, I'm just gonna go towards the bottom and cut myself, bleed a little bit there, they'll come that direction. You guys go through, I will heal myself, then when they're still crazy, I will swim through also.
Okay. And what about at the second pool? And how are we going to get everybody through? I don't
Mintius,
think
go
you have
ahead
enough
and...
blood to hold them all
Sorry, Toulouse, what was you saying?
off. Oh, nothing.
No, go ahead. I screwed up.
Oh, I was saying about the Gothos doing the blood thing. Like, we can try that, but we have to move really quick, and we all have to get through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna say you figured something out, Toulouse. Toulouse, Mintius, because you are the only one able to speak with the said fish, but Toulouse has actually more of a thought pattern through this. Both of you go ahead and roll insight.
Gothos, no
Ooh.
insight. First idea, jump in, both feet, no problems.
Mintius, you find that this is a great solid plan. These are stupid fish. Obviously, they'll go immediately straight for the blood. Toulouse, you can tell that these fish are stupid. They might not be thinking on their own best interest if something were to go awry. Just keep that in mind. You got a 12, so I'm not going to give specifics, but things can go easily wrong. And that's all I'm going to say.
I have an idea.
Yeah, I'll spear one of them while I'm bleeding, it'll be great.
I say we just kill one of them and let them frenzy on it.
Ulrich,
I
you were
have
saying?
an idea. Yes, I have an idea.
Yeah.
We could use one of the good doctor's vials, and we throw it so that it's against the wall and it drips down, and it triggers the frenzy over there, and they keep running into the wall. It keeps smearing on one of them. They keep attacking one another.
Sounds like a logical idea.
Let's do it.
Antidote then goes, I suppose, but Well, I suppose I can find another vial somewhere. He goes over to Ulrich, unlocks one of the vials areas that you can't see. This one's empty. I am not going to bleed into the tube, though. That'll be up to someone else.
Got that.
Relatches it without the tube and hands it over to Ulrich.
My idea. My
Yeah,
blood.
okay, who has the most delicious blood? Huh? Confess.
Eldith actually comes over. I'm sure they all prefer some delicacy above ground, other than the terrible mongrels down here. Looks towards Elrich now that she more or less, not really, apologized to you. I'm sure you could understand. Looks towards the goblin. After all, you know the type of filth that comes around people.
You
Enough
famously
already.
make your layers underground, lady.
Yeah, I mean, don't you live underground?
No,
So
not me.
You'd
I
know
live in a
that very
castle.
well.
A stone castle made of brimstone and iron.
Oh,
Anyway, do you want to run your hand across the sword, or am I still doing it?
I'll do it.
Up to you. She was just interjecting and kind of making things worse socially.
Yeah, no,
Go mumbling in the back.
I'll let her run her hand across the blade, and we'll use her blood.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. She drags her palm along it, and she does wipe it well enough, giving you enough blood to make half a vial. Maybe not the full thing, but half is probably enough, is what she says. But in a, not angrier, but more terse tone, and wraps up and bandages her arm. Antidote does not come over and try to heal her.
The shape. Now, this just to be clear is like an archway, right?
Yes.
Okay. So my thought is, and Mintius, this will probably be on you, is we try and lob this so that it hits this like little corner here. Hits the wall. It drips down into the water. They go towards that. We come down here towards the other side. Make a run for it.
Okay. It does have a cork on it on the other end, so if you do manage to just hit the water, it won't crack, but you would have to retrieve it if you want to try again. And this would be an athletics check.
Wait a second. Why didn't I just do a mage hand and with the cork with the vial open, I just throw the blood over the rock and let it drip on its own rather than breaking the thing?
Oh, very good, Roswin. You can do that. You can basically just glass the rock and avoid the athletic check.
Well,
Well,
it's either that and
if it's
also
mage
the big
hand, you can just
vial.
float it over and dump it.
Yeah,
then
that's
Dump
what
it
I
on
meant.
break
top
the
of
vial
one
and
of
keep
the. Dump it on top
Uh,
of one of the other ones.
I mean, if someone else, Toulouse, has mage hand, Toulouse, you could probably do
do.
that, but with one, you can't uncork the thing.
Yeah, I'll pull out my mage hand and be like, I could definitely help with this. Let's do it.
Okay.
Antonio
So-
Well, then I
agrees.
leave this vial of dwarf blood in capable hands. Capable of floating unattached to your body.
Just
That
do
sounds
floating
good.
hands.
And we'll dump it on top of one of the. You want to dump it on top of one of the monsters?
According to Ulrich, one of the stones, so it drips
Yeah.
in.
Oh, that's right.
So we're
I
just
think-
pouring it essentially against the rock
Yeah.
so that it can drip down.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, unless you want to do that and change the plan, it's entirely up to you.
Yep.
But does everyone go south?
Yeah, we'll get our
Well, we've
we'll
gotta
get our
be
new
up
friend
there.
out of there.
We've gotta be, we're gonna use the mage hand and we have to be up here because it's 30 feet only.
Yeah. and
Kobo's out of the
we'll get
water,
our
by the
new-
way. They're just kind of being looked at by these fish.
Well, this is
Cool.
definitely just sitting here being like, this is a lot of work for like I could have just bled, but all right.
They get closer to you.
You're the backup plan. No.
Okay, yeah. So you wanna uncork it? Uncork the thing?
Rosalind
Yeah.
and Toulouse, you don't have to be that close. You can just tell Kobo and yourselves to get further south. Remember, Mage Hand, that has some distance.
That's only
30
30 feet. That's my
Yeah,
point.
But look at 30 feet.
Oh, I suppose if you want to hit that wall instead of another wall, I think I was thinking differently. Yeah, okay.
Because if they're all over here, you want to break it up
Well,
here.
that's
so
the
you-
thing. We're not. Well, that's the thing. We're not breaking. We're trying to save the
Or
vial.
you're, yeah, I
You-
mean
you-
dumping.
Yeah.
I mean dumping, not breaking. Sorry,
It's fine.
Yeah.
but
So,
I mean still,
so if
you
I
can.
do that, yeah. if
From
I'm
like where
right
I
there-
am, you could still hit that wall and the fish right there.
Yeah, from where I'm at, I can
Yep.
still. Yeah. Okay, so I can still go down a bit further then.
Yes.
Okay, I'll be right there then, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's perfect. We could dump it on the wall and the fish.
Yep. So I go ahead and do that.
Okay. Roz, when you bring over the cork, Toulouse, you uncork said vial and you begin to dump said vial into a overhang of a rock, which is not big enough that it would just pool on, but big enough that it takes some time to drip down. However, you do manage to recork it, and do you keep it or hand it back to Antidote? It's entirely up to you.
I mean, it is. I'm not really that like super, selfish about it right now. But I will say that now that I know he has one, I'll point it out if it comes up to it again. I just saved it for him.
Yeah, I think he's like
Okay.
weird about it. So yeah.
Also, side note, as someone who's done chemistry in university, you can easily hold a vial with your pinky and ring finger and uncork it with your thumb and pointer.
Mage hands are magical.
Mage hands
okay?
are magical.
And there's restrictions because
The Tabaxi's mage hand is actually very dexterous. if
it
you
is,
need it.
yeah. And it
She's
can,
got a
like,
cool one that can do that.
teamwork
Yeah.
Fair enough.
for the team. For the team
Hands
of
high
things.
five.
Yeah.
Why not?
okay.
We have them. Why not?
Antidote just says thank you. As you hand it back to him, he puts it back into his mask and just says, "I'll remember that, but the main reason why I was getting huffy is because I don't know how many are down here. They don't exactly have doctors or scientists down here. They have cultists, but they usually have daggers of... They're not great. But as that contemplate happens, you do see that the drop begins to pool down. I want everyone to go ahead and roll dexterity saving throws as you swim through the water with advantage. As the
Nice.
pools of basically piranhas swim to the north
What are-
section.
What skill are we rolling?
Dexterity.
Dexterity
save.
saving throws because you're literally
Say it.
sprinting through.
I'm gonna stick with the mushroom because I perceive him to be the most important person.
God.
Okay. Da-da-da. Doot, 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 doot.
2 natural 20s. Holy shit. 3. Damn, Dogma.
These are NPC
So-
rolls.
I
So
know, but still, we had 2 natural 20s in the group
Yeah.
and 3 in the NPCs. God.
okay, those that failed, which are basically the 2 children, get saved by 2 other NPCs. Anyone else that got below a 14 basically gets saved by another PC in the group. I don't think anyone did, but that's what happens. But yeah, Kobo and Mintius basically have a swimming sprinting contest and both make it on the opposite end at the exact same time. You got a 23, so no one beats anyone else. Everyone else manages to get through without an incident. However, now to the fun part of what Toulouse actually interpreted before anyone else happened. Immediately as they went towards the other side and as the rest of the team managed to get to, well, managed to sprint to the other side, Toulouse turned back, making sure that nothing was of an issue. As she turned back, she saw some of the fish quite literally jump out of the water and try to bite into the stone. Some of them hit the ground and literally die on not only impact, but also they're not out of the water, so basically they're drowning. They're dumb fish, so more than likely if Gothos attempted to do the thing he wanted to said do, he would have likely
would've
been
been lucky.
swarmed by said fish as they jumped out of said water.
Well, you know what? I have faith in our group.
For
but-
inventory's sake, who has the bars from the thing that got disenchanted earlier? Mintius?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sweet. Okay,
Mintius
good.
and-
Just want to be sure. Okay.
Um,
cool.
Mintius and Gothos, because they're like competitive about it for some reason.
More or less. However, one of the bars is now no. Mintius also has a fake meat stone.
Yeah.
Terrible choice of words, but technically not wrong. Two of the schools of fish are now dead if you want to go try to retrieve them, but not all of the fish are dead, so there's still danger. Do you want to go back?
No.
Okay.
Let's move
do you
forward.
do you head down?
Yeah. Well, I mean, before we go down, what do we see from like up here? First off.
From what you
Yeah.
see
Like
in
to-
your current area, you do see that the area around you does seem to have a pool of fish just swimming in the water. That's dangerous in itself. However, on your side, there does seem to be a staircase leading down, and with cobwebs and one giant black widow in said web. Along the walls, you don't see anything like you don't see a secret guard just watching the area, making sure that you die on impact or kill you. No, nothing like that, or at least nothing like that yet. You don't see anything other than the pitch fires that are next to you, which have to be maintained. So if you decide to long rest here, you might get caught. But maybe a short rest would be fine, depending on how well you think you're at. Other than that, there doesn't seem to be anything else. But Kobo, you do see that there's a small little indent in the same area you saw on the other side.
Could have just gone over the water.
It's a very small hole. But depending on what you're
not
trying to
big
do.
enough.
No,
It would
it's
have
about the
taken
size of
time.
a thumb.
Okay, yeah, no.
Well, to be specific, it's about as thick as a thumb, but as long as a monitor, I suppose.
Okay. Yeah, nope, I needed a something big enough for everybody to squeeze through.
Unless you had some type of change into small rodent animal, that
No.
would be very difficult.
Yeah, no. That's why I said nope, that wouldn't have worked.
Oh,
Fair
and
enough.
just because. I think Goko's just gonna try and spear one of these fish for food. So I have a spear.
You grab one of the pikes, and they do get closer because you're near the water.
Aha!
You do manage to spike one, and immediately the rest of the fish begin to swarm around the area and eat up half the
Ugh.
fish as you bring the rest with you. You
And
have
then I
one
grill it.
half ration.
Better than me.
Guys, I made a totally responsible decision.
Is there anything else around the area that might be useful? Anything
Um,
left? Refuge? Scrap?
a torch?
Go
for-
ahead and roll investigations. Anyone that's trying to find anything, but so far, unless you're digging, there doesn't seem to be anything currently visible.
Yeah, I'm gonna investigate too.
Yeah,
All right, are you gonna roll, or are you good?
Sorry, yeah. Have trouble bringing up my sheet.
Perfectly fine. As mentioned before, you were having internet troubles, and roll 20 is a pain when that happens.
Yeah, it's been a little spotty. I'm getting by though.
All right. 19, 17, 20, and 11. Huntsman, you find one gemstone, value of 10 copper.
Fucking bet.
It is a fake gemstone, from what you can tell. Kind of like a rhinestone. Toulouse, you seem to find one gemstone, value of 1 gold. It seems to be the same shape and model as the one Ulrich found. However, this one's real. So whatever this outfit or wherever it belonged to, it's probably from the same thing, but some are fake and some are real. And probably to cut on costs and expenses. Mintius, you find what appears to be a small mint leaf, which is ironic. However, this doesn't seem to be all that was there. As soon as you uprooted said leaf, you did find what appeared to be the entire said plant. It doesn't mean much, but you could probably brew some tea with it if you decided to. but you can tell that plants are viable here. But this was stomped into the ground, so probably not taken care of. Let's see. Roswin, you can tell and determine that when you investigated the site, you did find what appeared to be a metal spoon. So someone did eat food here and probably hung out for a while, but no one's currently here. So you have one spoon.
Well,
And
we just need to sharpen the edges down on that, and we have a shank real fast.
yeah.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking.
Kobo, you find one said fork, probably adjacent to Roswin's spoon. However, that is
Fork is already a shank.
yes. I was about to say before Albert mentions it's already a shank, so it's good to go.
All right.
For context clues, Kobo, if you decide to use it as said weapon, it will be a makeshift dagger.
That's what I'm going to put it in.
All right. You can just call it fork.
Anybody else wanna tap in this spoon here?
I'd have skill doing that with just a plain old rock on the ground from my background or from having to survive. So I suppose I could just do that whilst I'm doing mine.
To make a shank?
And then does anybody need to
Yeah.
take a...
I mean, most of my equipment was already secondhand anyway. I mean, a couple of rusty discarded kitchen knives for my daggers and a old discarded pillowcase with some twine for a backpack. So yeah, I can resource whatever I need with just sharpening. Like over here where this hot fire is, that's a metal or stones in there. A hot.
It's stones.
Okay. Well, I could mage hand a hot stone out, and the hot stone will actually heat the edge of the metal as you're rubbing it up against it, which will make a sharper edge faster.
Yeah, that's not an
So-
issue. I was just wondering if you were gonna do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is anyone else doing anything, or are you heading down the stairs?
Didn't Tadu say you were gonna do something?
I think I was gonna say, like, I was just gonna say kind of like moving on, or I forgot, honestly. I started drawing with the fish things again. I'm so sorry.
No, you're
I'm pretty sure I was gonna say something about moving on down the stairs though, and if we need to do anything else, and
We are in the Underdark, and spiders are not to be trusted.
I mean, we can just burn.
Nobody
some
else gonna
off.
say anything? Yeah, I was gonna say. Do
Not
I
yet,
just
though.
do it? Does anybody else say anything?
I mean, if you're sharpening the spoon for me, whatever, then I
Yeah,
will go
then-
ahead and cast a freaking firebolt.
Oh, I
Yeah.
remember now. I was gonna ask if anybody needed a short rest, or if pretty much
okay.
yeah. If anybody needs a short rest, or if we need to move on because we are running out of time. That's
Yeah,
what I
we
was gonna say. Shit, I remember. Sorry. I have things together
Be asking what the urgency is.
because we escaped from prison and.
Oh, I know that. I escaped too, but
The
you act
ships-
like somebody specifically following you personally.
They're following they were going to be
Yeah.
following all of us because there was 4 hours before the time shift in their shift trade. Is that what it's
Mhm.
called? Yeah.
They can
Shifting?
have the-
I know
Changing the
language.
guard.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay,
once that
so-
happens, they know that
so
we're
you
gone
actually had-
now.
So the riot didn't actually alert the guards. You got away, and you were just waiting for shift change before they started a manhunt.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
see,
now-
I was a little confused on that. I didn't exactly know what's going on.
No
Yeah,
worries. That's why we're catching you up. It's all
Okay.
good. But yeah, so now we got to make a move before they catch up to us because we've been gone for 4 hours now.
4+ hours
Yeah.
at this point.
We best get
Yeah.
going then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go. So I will.
And they'll never expect us to go down because that's crazy. That's what crazy people would do. Go down in the Underdark when they are trying to escape.
So Roswin, you set that spider on fire?
Yeah, I'm gonna try with freaking firebolt. Try and just get rid of the thing. Kind of like how when like someone's like, I'm scared of spiders in real life, I'll be like, somebody kill it. I'm just gonna do
Okay,
it.
go ahead and roll attack. It shouldn't be hard. It's just a small spider.
I like how you say that.
But
Okay.
yeah, in the Underdark, spiders are
Yeah.
not to be trusted, even small ones.
All right, go ahead and roll damage. You begin to cast fiery blaze upon the said web with a simple bolt. It begins to burn the webbing away. You can tell that the fire begins to aim directly towards the spider, and you can tell that it has nowhere to crouch or go around it. It quickly makes a webbing system around it that it almost spells the word Y, as it begins to burn away into nothingness and then no more. The web is no longer
guys,
there,
here.
and neither is
See?
said spider.
That's so sad though.
Fuck,
Why
we
would you
just
do
killed
that?
Charlotte.
Yeah. Spiders are normally spies, even if they're little. That one was acting like it would have been friendly.
I like.
Maybe
Let's
that'll
go.
maybe that'll teach us something about your prejudices.
I mean, they could have just been messing with you, but the spider's dead now.
Yeah.
So no matter what you thought, well, doesn't matter anymore. You make your way further down and you eventually come towards the door. The door isn't locked, but it does have a giant spider motif. Surprise, surprise, you're in the Underdark. And you do find a staircase further down. However, you don't see anyone, but you do feel a presence around you as if something is watching you along the walls.
Is there anything on the walls, like writing or anything like that?
It does seem to have cobwebs along the walls themselves, but other than that, there doesn't seem to be any writing.
Okay, so recap. We murdered a spider and then walked into the spider temple.
I mean, they might not be looking for us here. What kind of sane people would go farther into the spider's den when they were trying to escape it?
Right? Definitely, we should move.
So you go
We're
further
just
down?
gonna chug along. We're just gonna chug along until something
Oh yeah,
happens.
I'm waiting for you guys to go forward. Hell,
Should
I
I-
can't go forward.
Do we have? Yeah. Wait. Wasn't there a mushroom person leading the way, or is that over?
They're still leading the way, but they're behind people because they're not exactly what I would determine as fighting.
They vaguely
Like-
don't even have arms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're basically
Yeah,
just a
they're,
giant mushroom that moves. Okay, Mintius, Gothos, and Kobo, go ahead and stop right there as you do see individuals standing in front of you. There appears to be two guards standing on side to side alongside of each other. They do seem to be drow, so watch out for that. However, standing in front of them seems to be one other individual with a strange magical aura around them. Whatever and whoever they are, they seem to be distracted right now, but that could easily change if something were to occur.
I kind of mouth, stealth. Shh. And then start sneaking backwards.
Begin to moonwalk back up the stairs, almost bumping into Antidote.
I'm motioning to these two to, like, shh, come on, give it.
We are both thirsty for drow blood, but
I get that. But I get that, but doesn't this require a bit of tact? We have a couple of sharpened spoons.
Back up around the corner and.
I have a sword.
Now,
Gothos
The
is
very
carrying
nice-
a spear and wearing leather armor that's probably drenched in drow blood already. And,
okay, so we do have some.
Mintius, I believe Mintius
have
has some
some-
sort of like fence pole.
I have a
Goth-
long sword.
I got claws, and I
Gothos?
have.
I was gonna
Okay.
say, too, don't you have like a makeshift shield that I gave you or made for you earlier?
Yes, actually, it's not makeshift. It's wonderful but fragile.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
also 2 spears that I believe are floating around in the party.
Okay.
We
I'm
simply
sorry. I
stopped
was
for-
under the impression that we were unarmed.
We've
yeah.
been picking up stuff on our
Briefly.
way.
They mugged
Yeah.
2
and-
guards before.
We don't
Okay.
have we don't have the stuff that we came here with. That's different, but we've acquired things along the way.
Okay.
Yeah, and if someone's more comfortable with half a spear, I would wield a rusty iron bar pretty much just as effectively.
Does anyone need a fork shank?
One of the kids come over for said shank.
I look at him. Does he look like he's even remotely a fighter?
He's about the same size and build as you. Depends on how you look at yourself. But
In that case,
no.
yeah, I hand him the fork. And he's a child, right? He's a young one.
Yes.
I hand him the fork and I say, "Go for the back of the knees and the back of the ankles first. Once they're down, you can kick them in the head."
They nod and go back towards their sister. Antidote comes over, then goes, "They kind of are a flight risk, so they might just leave with your fork."
At any
I'll get
rate,
it back.
I'm gonna enter my my focus, and I'm gonna look to the party. We have to hit him hard. We have to hit him fast. Go for vitals. Play dirty, fight dirty, bite, kick, scream, make your presence big. They don't leave here alive.
We can do that. I can give you guys a 1 chance head start. If you give me a second to figure this out.
Yeah, if you want, I can. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. You first.
Okay.
I have drow armor on and no, I'm not that deceptive.
I am.
Mildly deceptive. I can go in
That's
and just
disguise self.
Which 4 of you guys are gonna be attacking first? Just out of like,
Actually, I need 3 guys to line up here, here, and here. Your 3 biggest, buffest. And I'm going to sneak down to here. And I turn around and say, when I give you the cue, attack them from behind. So you guys are going to have to run down. I don't know how fast your speeds are, so if you have to get closer or whatever.
It's not 45 feet.
Uh-uh.
In
Yeah,
that
we
case,
gotta
yeah,
get
you guys,
basically where you are.
all right. Then I can sneak to right there. You guys get right in behind me. I'm going to snap to center.
And sorry, Riel,
Okay,
that's
what's that?
loose. What are you saying?
All right. Is everybody there? Everybody's going to line up so they can fight.
wait, hold on. What were you gonna say there, Toulouse? Were you gonna say something?
I think this plan will work. My plan was maybe I could disguise myself and go out there and try to distract them a bit, and then you guys ambush them.
Problem? You are
We can do
covered
that
head to toe in fur.
simultaneously.
I was going to say I have kind of a distraction for myself.
I
That
could
works.
disguise myself
Both of you
Like
can
one
get
of
sneak
them.
attack, huh?
to look like.
Well, I
a
can give
guard.
everybody in this front row at the very least sneak attack or attack from behind.
But Toulouse can go in with you, like you both
Yeah.
walk in, and
I
then
think that's a yes. I think that's
Well,
a,
I'm
we've
not
got
walking.
then we've got him totally flanked.
right. But
See-
but to Gotha's one, I think Toulouse should be up there with you. I think if both
Yeah.
of you do it, then even better.
Toulouse could be the guard, and you're trying to run away as the prisoner.
Well, no. See, the idea here is I'm going to distract all 3 of them. They're all going to have their back to you guys up here. You run in and attack their back whilst they're all looking at me.
Okay.
Precisely. But we
Oh.
were
That's
just
fine.
saying Toulouse could do that with you, and you could play
Yeah.
like
I can't take Toulouse with me.
Nope.
she
let's
can
do
do it
your
herself.
plan.
Oh. You can do it
I
yourself. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yeah.
that's what we were saying. She can go up there with you. That's why she
Okay.
pulled that up into the chat.
Okay. Oh no, I'm not disguising.
What
Yeah,
are
you're
you
just
going
you're
invisible?
you're sneaking up in there, and you're just gonna be like, "Bam! Here I am!" Right?
Exactly.
I was
Bam,
saying
here I am.
I was saying I can disguise myself as a guard and go up there and distract them long enough for you guys to be like,
Oh.
bam.
I'm just gonna poof right here, turn around, and say, "Hey, assholes!" And when they all start chasing me, you attack them from behind because I'll just poof right here.
Yeah. Sounds good. Let's do it.
I apologize. I didn't mean to say asshole. If anybody's
No,
Totally fine,
Okay.
you're fine.
No.
All right. Is everybody here ready to run up in a back attack?
Mhm.
Sluice get in range.
Do we need to sneak down another square? Because I don't know what you guys' speeds are.
No, we're good. Well, if we move the children to this, yeah.
Oh yeah, pull the children back behind the corner. They
Oh.
don't need to be
Move them
even
up,
near.
You
yeah,
monster!
well,
No, no,
okay, fine. Leave them where they are. Leave them where they are. You're right. So we can keep an eye on them.
I thought that's what
Just
Gatos
laughing
was.
at what?
What are
laughing at a Shogma. Move the
What are the-
children in front of the bold paladin.
What are the grappling rules in this game?
Athletics versus
Bad.
athletics or acrobatics.
What's that?
Your athletics versus said opponent's athletics or acrobatics. Or if they're doing that to you, you get the option of athletics or acrobatics. It's the standard grappling check.
You can grapple a creature up to one size larger than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 2 sizes larger than you, then it can automatically succeed against it grappling you.
Okay.
Very few of us will be grappling ogres.
Oh, yeah. But no, as I was
Tiny.
looking at this whole setup, I realized I could do something better and still give you guys all back attack. So, are you all ready?
Mhm.
Okay. Am I going to need to roll an attack roll, Mr. DM, sir?
What are you trying to do?
Misty Step directly onto the back of this mage guy's neck so I can just put my arms around his neck. It's a
Depends on-
teleport right through him.
Misty Step's not an issue. You can go ahead and do so, but depending on what you're trying to do after trying to basically wrap your hands around them.
Just,
that
imagine somebody's
might
on your back
require
and they
roll.
just wrap their arms around your neck. You're like trying to get them off you. It's not like a damaging
It's a-
attack, but it's
It's a
distracting.
bonus action and an action. I mean, you
Yeah.
might argue for advantage, but bonus action.
Okay.
I suppose that would be a type of grapple check to try to
Okay.
latch onto them, so it would be your athletics versus their athletics or acrobatics. But
Okay.
getting onto them and distracting them, that's not an issue. It all depends on what they try to do.
All right.
I
And I
also
can't
want to.
tell. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I just want to say this really quick before anything starts. I do want to disguise myself as one of the guards, and I wanted to let my team know that beforehand.
Okay,
Like-
cool.
I for confusion purposes, I'm gonna do that.
So we don't accidentally attack you? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
smart idea.
Yeah. And I'm telling you guys, like, hey, I'm doing this so I can confuse them a little bit, but yeah, totally gonna look like one of them for time being.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
You're
Sorry.
like, they have black cloaks. I'm gonna have a purple cloak, but I'm gonna look like dummy number 2.
Because even if you look like a guard and you walk up this direction, then they're going to turn this way to look at you, and they would see all of us. So we want to keep them facing this way.
No,
That's the
I'm
only
doing.
reason I
I,
was.
yeah, no,
She's
this
just
is
gonna focus on
happening.
something
I'm
else,
doing
yeah.
this
Mhm.
just.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not doing anything before you. I'm just doing it. I'm still doing everything the same. Just gonna look like one of them. That's all.
Okay, so yeah, just friend or foe check. Got it.
Yep. So when they do start attacking me, they're gonna be like, "Wait, what?" And I'll be like, "Haha. Yep. You don't know what to do.
Mhm.
Cool. Okay. Anyways, yep.
All right, are we all ready?
Go for it.
Okay. Misty Step.
All right. You managed to Misty Step behind and on top of said mage drow. That's not an issue. What are you attempting to do next? As they're currently looking behind them, they have yet to act. However, this is but an instant moment.
Now, this instant moment, since I'm short, Misty Step takes me anywhere I see, even if that's not standing on the ground. So I literally teleport myself 3 feet up from the ground so I can automatically put him in a chokehold from behind.
Okay, that sounds more like an attack than a grapple.
Oh, that's what I wasn't sure of, because I don't know how grappling or a chokehold or a because that to me is just grappling. But yeah, sure, we can do an
It's
attack.
better for
Okay.
you.
Okay, yeah, an
Make that a
attack.
sneak attack.
Yeah. Go ahead and do a unarmed strike then.
All right. Where's that button? What do I roll?
I mean, just an
You
attack.
don't have a thing that says unarmored strike in the area for attack?
I
No,
do
you
not.
have
I've
to
got
set that
just.
up yourself. Are you proficient in unarmed strikes? Probably not. So just
I
roll
am,
a d20.
Okay, so just a d20 plus my dexterity.
Or
Or
strength.
your
Unarmed-
strength, whichever is
yeah,
higher.
No, actually, unarmed strikes, unless you're a monk, it's always strength.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
true.
Okay, here we go. /R.
But you are proficient in unarmed strikes. You are always proficient.
All right.
And would it be safe to say that this drow is surprised by this?
I like
I mean,
the
just
idea.
proof
so
on his
yes.
back. Yeah.
So advantage.
Awesome. Plus 1. All right. And
Nice.
it did not roll with advantage, but that's a critical hit.
Hot diggity
Okay.
daffodils.
Go ahead and roll. See if you get another natural 20 and get an instantaneous knockout.
Okay. / Or I'm a slow typist, so bear with me.
It's fine.
Just trying to calculate the odds of 2 20s in a row.
Why would you say that? Just stop.
2.5%.
Wrapping your hands around them after basically just jumping onto them, you managed. Well, technically, Kobo, you would have to teleport higher than 3 feet on the ground because they're tall.
Well, yeah, if my feet were 3 feet above the ground, then my arms, unless he's more than a 7-foot tall drow.
Oh, okay, that's fair enough.
I am 3 feet tall, so if you raise me 3 feet, my head is at 6-foot level,
Yeah.
so I can get my arm around his neck.
Okay, that's fine.
He spent 1 foot of movement to hop right before he teleported.
No, that's fine. I was just trying to figure out the math on this, but you roll a natural 20,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
perfectly fine. I was just semantics in my head. You managed to jump.
Okay, the semantics would be that I teleport my feet to 3 feet above where the actual ground is,
Okay.
still in a standing position.
I was thinking of your physical middle point section, but that makes more sense
Okay.
with your feet. You managed to grab onto them without an issue just fine and begin to chokehold them. They do sustain a good amount of damage and are likely having a disadvantage attack on anything they try to do next. However,
Well, since it's a chokehold, I'm hoping that disadvantage is on speaking. This is the major one.
yes, that is probably well and good to know. That being said, in that instantaneous moment, the two guards around, and I did mention they were busy, because they were busy talking with this individual, noticed you choking their maybe boss, but definitely
Yeah.
someone with authority, and begin to move straight towards you.
Oh, yeah, but their back is to the stairs, which was the idea, because now everybody else is going to attack them in the back.
Yes. Giving, let's see, I believe Toulouse, Ulrich, Mintius, Gothos, and Roswin all had things prepped. Everyone else isn't exactly a distance fighter and or a fighter. So, starting from the bottom and going up top. Oh, wait, nah, let's just roll turn order and then do that, and then I'll roll turn order for them. Oops.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll turn order / initiative. And that'll determine who goes first with their first round of sneak attacks.
Point of order. I had given Toulouse the my help action.
All right, Toulouse, go ahead and roll initiative again with advantage. All right, we'll keep your first one, which I believe was a 17.8.
18.
18.18.
I'm running it up to 8, which is a terrible roundup, but it'll work. So, first up top is Toulouse. Currently, Toulouse, you see that Kobo is surrounded by drow. Probably not the best thing, but currently they are distracted and in a group. If you're speaking, you are muted.
I'm so sorry. It's because I keep coughing. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
And we're in initiative already. So, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I look like them. Shit. Yeah, I'll just go in and I'm gonna get a bunch of sneaky stuff on them because I got fucking. What do I have? I have a dagger, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the one you stole off of one of the prisoners you shanked.
Yeah, it's like a warped dagger or something.
From the old man.
I have a shank, I have a dagger. Yeah, and I have a warped one. Okay. So yeah,
go
I'll
in as
go up.
far as you can so the rest of us can follow.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up and I look like them, so I don't think they'll notice me when I come up behind. Which one looked like the captain? The one, this one, right?
The one with the current chokehold.
Okay, that's better, because I don't think I had that much movement anyways. Where was I? I was right here, sorry.
Yeah, that's four squares.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I'll go behind that guy and I will do sneaky attack. Sneak attack.
Alright.
Dagger? Is that the right one? That's
Oh,
my
that's
damage, isn't
damage.
it? I'm sorry. Where's my thing? Dagger.
Alright, and you have advantage thanks to not only Alrich, but Kobold's plan. Go ahead and roll again. 23 does hit. I'm afraid 10 did not.
Okay. And
Roll damage on your dagger, and then if you want, I think you have an off. No, I don't know if you have an offhand dagger. Probably don't.
Did you have a sneak attack enabled on that one?
It was 9 on the first guy.
Oh, the sneak attack was 9. Okay.
So, piercing into them with the sneak attack and both your dagger and Huntsman's training with his own tactics, you begin to bind into their flesh, and they do reel in pain, not only from the chokehold, but from quite literally the blade on their side. Not only are they being choked, but they seem, in their own mind, to be betrayed by their own men. Even though they're shorter. But the betrayal still hurts. Anything else, Toulouse?
I don't get like an unarmed strike, right? No, that's. No.
I don't believe so.
I think that's it. Yeah, no, I'm good. I did everything.
If you're a tabaxi, you don't get an unarmed strike. Your claws automatically count as D4 daggers.
I know I got that set up. I got called cat claws.
It's still a strength-based attack, though. Feels weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
With the cat claws, I would think it's dex, because owning cats, I know how they can just... Oh, anyway, sorry.
That's fine.
And the other thing, actually, I've read that in some errata that unarmed strikes count as weapon attacks, so you could make an unarmed strength.
Only monks can dual wield their fists.
Yeah, maybe that was because I was researching that when I was a monk.
Yeah.
Like that's
Monks have a
That's why-
specific
that's
line
why I get
that lets them attack as a bonus action using their fists.
Yeah.
That's the
So long
only
as they
reason why I
attack.
have it stuck in my
Yep.
head is because I played one once and then just always wait, what? Yeah, so sorry.
it's all good. Mintius.
As I move, I'm going to start my rage. And get right here.
All right. As you manage to move behind the drow, they are currently now occupied by the traitor among them. The captain looks hurt, not only betrayed by his own men, but by a shorter, stout individual that he took care under his wing, taught him and trained him to be the best he can be. Probably think of another guy. This is Toulouse.
Oh,
Your disguise is so good that he thinks you're somebody completely different that he knows.
God.
You're not just
It
a generic
happens.
guard. You're like his friend.
Oh, man.
So I'm going to attack this one right next to me.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thankfully enough, you did have advantage, so you do manage to pierce into his flesh. Or hit him in the back with your club. Oh,
It's a
longsword. Nice.
longsword.
slashing into him without too much of an issue. You do see that he turns now behind you, now fully visible to you, and he has no idea who you are. You don't look like anything he's seen before. So he's not mentally scarred.
Aw.
Just physically.
I'll be more so when we're done with them. But that's all I have.
All right.
Level 3.
I just have this mental image of this, regular sized drow turning around, and he doesn't see anything because my inventory's full.
Yeah, that's fair to say. He
That's
basically
all.
turns around and then looks down. Gothos.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way I can flank anyone specifically. So,
Aren't you still considered flanked with the mage that Kobo's on?
Just out of curiosity, a couple of people said they had spears or something.
Yes, some do.
oh,
Spears
I
are
have a
long-range
spear that I-
weapons, so you should be able to attack from standing behind another character.
Spears are not. Pikes have reach, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Spears do
pikes,
not have
okay.
reach, yeah.
Got confused with that one. Sorry, pikes and spears similar.
unfortunately, anything that has reach, besides a whip, cannot be wielded by a small character. Womp, womp, womp.
I mean, it can be just with disadvantage.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's just very awkward.
So I'll probably just go after the same guy. Yeah, we've got a whole good dungeon to go through. I'm not gonna do anything too fancy right now. We'll just make a regular roll attack against the same person that Minitus attacked.
All right.
I don't know why I have 10-foot range on that. It's just not attack.
25
I do
does hit.
6.
Are you gonna roll again to see if you get natural 20?
I have advantage because of a surprise. Sure, definitely. Oh, and just for fun. No, I've already. Never mind. Never mind. I do 6 damage. That's the enemy.
All right. Manages to spear straight onto him and through him. You can tell that they're hurt and they're immediately in pain. While they are probably bloodied at this point, they look towards you and then look down. You are also short. They don't really notice who you are, but they do. You're one of the ones that stole some of their guard equipment, right?
Yeah. For the glory of Timor, you drow scum.
They're wearing they're wearing the drow garb. They would
Yeah,
recognize
that's right.
that.
Yeah.
I'm clad in the blood of your countrymen, you fucking slaver.
But as you say that, they look at the armor on you, and then he just mouths in Undercommon, which I don't think you know. But
I do.
okay,
I do.
it's funnier if he didn't, but I'm gonna say it anyways. They look at it and they just mouth the word Matilda, and then they begin to have one small tear in their right eye fall down their cheek.
Oh, is that worse than the spider typing out Y with his web? Jeez. Oh my
All
gosh.
right.
Justification. So, and I didn't even do what you guys did.
I will run up and I will lash out at this man with a sword.
All right. You would have advantage thanks to Cole. Well, he's technically not on the ground, but I'm gonna say it works anyways. But still, sneaky round, so you would have advantage regardless. I don't know
I
why I just
clicked
called
on
it
it.
sneaky round.
Clicked on it. Maybe it'll roll.
With roll 20, if you have any type of internet connection problems, it'll take roughly about half a minute to an hour. There we go. Both are 4s.
That's impressive. Um,
That happens a lot with Roll20. I think their random dice generator is flawed.
I think many of their things are flawed, but regardless of that.
and I will give Toulouse my help action again.
All right. As you begin to talk with Halus,
Actually, no, I'm going to give it to Kobo because he's new, and I need to post this again so that everyone can be reminded that when they receive my help action, they get things.
Starting at level 1, you use the help action as a bonus action. Additionally, when you use the help action, you aid an ally. The ally can be within 30 feet of you rather than within 5 feet of you if the target can see or hear you. Lastly, if the ally takes the attack action, all of their attacks receive advantage rather than just the first. Tactical insight.
So that is pretty cool.
Lastly, you get a D4. You can add it to an attack roll, a damage roll, or a saving throw. It goes away at the end of my next turn, so you need to basically use it or lose it.
Okay.
Basically, if you forget about it, because I do keep track of it, I usually will just add it to your damage.
Okay, that's good for me. Speaking of, did we actually cover that? I put him in a chokehold. Does that do damage, or does he just go unconscious, and how long does that take?
If he goes around without doing anything, he'll likely go unconscious, because currently, you get a surprise round, so no, he doesn't get a chance to take an action. But currently, he has disadvantage on anything he tries to do.
Okay, but still, the chokehold, what does that do in the way of damage, if any, and how long does it take?
The chokehold will take a round if no one tries to intervene. Surprise round doesn't mean a round. It just basically means everyone comes in and assaults. But I'm going to include that as a round, so the next time it comes up his turn, even though it would be his first turn, if he doesn't do anything and doesn't manage to do anything, he would automatically basically pass out.
Okay.
But it all honestly depends on what someone else does. Or what he does. In the meantime, Ulrich, is that it?
Yes. I told him to close the fists. It'll make the hold tighter.
All right. Oh, the person that sent me that message, yeah, I know. They just seem more entertaining. But that does make sense. Thank you. Kobo. Oh, wait. Technically, you did take your surprise round, so I'm going to say you can't move, basically because you can't move, but you can take your...
I'm on the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hanging on the guy's neck, so I know I can't move, but I can make fists and then slide one fist up into my elbow to make it a really tight chokehold.
Yeah, I suppose that could... Yeah,
I mean, if you watch professional wrestling, they do that very flamboyantly, but if you do it more subtly, it actually does work.
No, I understand what you're saying. I'm just wondering if this constitutes just automatic damage or attack and then damage.
Because I'm already latched on with a D20 or
yeah,
a natural 20.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, go ahead and do unarmed strike damage.
Okay. And unarmed strike damage is...
From what I remember, 1d6. No modifier since you're not a monk.
Okay, 1d6.
Unfortunately,
okay,
that's way stronger than what it actually is.
It's
yeah.
a 1d1.
1d1?
Plus strength.
Plus strength, yep. 1d1 plus strength.
So 1d1 is actually just a 1 plus strength. So I roll 2 plus my 1d4 from the tactical edge.
You can add the tactical edge to your hit bonus or to your damage bonus.
Well, I'm latched on. I'm just doing the damage.
Yeah, you're just doing the automatic damage.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
So 1 strength, added dice.
The important thing about it being a 1d1 though is that if it crits, it does an extra 1 damage.
All right. So how do I roll the 1d1? Slash or 1d1.
Well, it would be a 1d20, and if you crit.
Oh, so I'm actually rolling to... Okay.
Wait, yeah, go ahead and roll in case you get a crit. But honestly, you'd still be doing the automatic damage, but roll anyways in case you get a natural... No, you don't. You still do damage, though.
Okay, so it's slash R 1d4 for the tactical edge, plus 2. 1 for the 1 and 1 for my strength.
Yes.
Not bad.
Next. Okay, I'm still hanging on the back of this guy. Just got him
Yeah, I see.
cold.
Roswin.
I'm gonna shoot magic missiles at first level. First, I'm gonna do it one at a time to see if it knocks anyone out. So the first one's gonna shoot at the guy that's on with Kovo. So that would be 3 on the first one.
You aim a magic
if he's-
missile straight at the individual that Kobo has a chokehold on. However, it doesn't bring him down. He's likely bloodied at this point, but not down to the ground. He does look super pissed off and heartbroken.
Another one then. How does he
Uh,
look after that one?
he doesn't look great. In fact, you can for sure tell that he's bloodied. That much isn't a problem. But he does now know that you're there.
And last one then goes to him again.
Okay. Again, bloodied, but not all the way down. If you had to guess, maybe a good, maybe another good blow from Toulouse or Mentius or Gothos, and that'd probably take him down. But I'm afraid Magic Missile just didn't cut it.
That's fine. I just wanted to help. So there you go.
Still have the other 2 guards, and this one is the magic user. And if I got the chokehold on him, he can't cast spells. So those other 2 with the swords might be might be. the
Yeah, I mean, I
larger
was trying
threat.
to get as much whittled him, the one that you've got down as much as I could, so I can definitely trust Toulouse or anybody else in front of him to finish him off. So
Fair
all good.
enough.
That's it.
All right.
Awesome.
No one else in the NPC group can do anything except for Edith. So she comes closer.
Well, if they run up closer, they might be able to attack next round.
No, here's what she's gonna do, cause I want her to. She grabs the spear, because I believe she's one of the people that has the spears, and then just chucks it straight towards the captain guy. She's not proficient in it, so she's gonna roll a d20 plus her strength, which is 3. That's a 7. Does not hit. Hits the ground and immediately loses a whip. She's not great.
Oh yeah, no, oh yeah, that's
All right.
great. I'm up here using a spear. That's
Now
wonderful.
rolling for NPCs' turns. Add turn. I'm going to use Antidote as NPC vital turn.
I mean, you
Let's see.
spent a lot of time in that prison saying how you were inadequate, how my people weren't up to snuff. Oh, what happens when you throw a spear? Anyway,
Oh, unfortunately, the mage rolled well, but not enough to go next. Let's see, that's a 12, and that is a 7, which is not great, but not the worst. Descending order. And Toulouse, you're up next.
I'm gonna try to stab him, I guess. I'm gonna keep going with my dagger.
All right. This time you don't have advantage thanks to the surprise round, but technically Kobo is still behind them. So go ahead and roll again. Nice, that is it.
Shoot. Yeah.
With sneak attack.
And sneak attack damage. I roll this one.
I'm
Is
not
it
sure
alright?
about that.
I
Does
was
anyone
gonna do that
know?
wrong.
Yeah, it is because so it can be triggered as long as there's an ally within 5 feet of
Yeah.
the person who's attacking.
Cool.
Yeah, you
Pretty
don't
much
necessarily
so
have
long
to
as
be
they have-
stealthy.
pretty much so
and,
long as you have advantage, you get sneak attack.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and with me being on the back grappling him, that actually counts as disadvantage for him attacking anybody else, so that automatically gives her sneak attack
Makes sense.
because she's distracted.
Yeah. I've never had someone try to choke hold to do this, so I was wondering if
Okay.
that did give sneak attack. Okay.
All right, yeah, I do apologize, but I am not your standard fighter. I do a lot of crazy, insane crap during combat,
Nah, that's fine.
just so you're worried.
No, not really. It's just interesting. So you
Can
do
you
manage to
smell
hit.
what the halfling is cooking?
Let's see. Go ahead and roll your damage, other than sneak attack damage.
So I rolled this damage, right?
Yes.
Or dagger damage.
2 sevens.
Okay.
Too bad they're not 3 sevens, or else you'd win some sort of jackpot. Stepping into them, you do see that they are hurt, betrayed, and now really, really hurt. They are close to death's door, but they are just shy of it.
God damn it!
Anything, Death is just currently at their stoop, just debating on whether to knock or ring the doorbell. They're kind of shy, but timid.
Ah, yes. Death from Terry Pratchett's Discworld series. Yes, that one.
Man, I'm surprised someone actually got
I
that.
don't understand what you mean.
Other than soap. Anything else, Toulouse?
I feel like I'm forgetting stuff. I'm so sorry if I am, but I think that's all I can do for now.
All right. Their turn, which means they get a chance to try to get Kobo off of their back. Let's see here. They can't exactly conjure up anything vocally. That's a problem, but they can still just... Yeah, they can technically still do that, but I'll give them disadvantage because you're on their back and it's just a weird angle.
Just out of curiosity, if it's a spell that requires you to see the person, he can't see me. I'm behind him.
No, as he manages to grab something on his side, everyone else can see that this is a very sharp and dangerous dagger, and then just tries to swing behind them and hope to hit you. So that is 1d20 plus 6, which could be dangerous, but they have disadvantage.
Drow guard uses flail.
All right, they have disadvantage, so let's see. Nope, didn't roll a 1, but they got a 12. I'm assuming that's lower than your AC, thanks to your bonus.
Yes.
Ah.
Yes.
So they swing straight towards you, but they're basically flaming behind them, didn't do a thing. Unfortunately, like I mentioned before, if they aren't able to actually do anything, they get knocked out. So you basically chokehold them to the point where they're unconscious. So that's round 1. Mintius.
Alright. I'm gonna scream at this drow right in front of me
Okay.
as I move into my reckless attack. So I get advantage.
You do. Both of those would have hit.
Just I don't think I needed advantage. Yay!
As you begin to almost lunge towards Gothos in a almost frantic cry, you hurt them, Gothos. Even if you didn't do physically, well, you did hurt him a lot. Emotionally, you scarred him for life, which isn't apparent. Because as soon as they tried lunging for you, Mint managed to slash through them, and they hit the ground in 2 pieces.
And that would be a lot for me.
All right. Antidote comes over, doesn't do a thing. Mainly because he doesn't have a weapon. Topsy-Turvy come over and...
Oh yeah, sure. You couldn't just win the strength contest. I gotta do.
I mean, I guess he could. They're gonna take their entire turn to just get 60 feet away.
I don't think you moved him last turn.
Oh, true. I'm gonna take their last turn and just do an extra 30. Which is more than fair because they didn't move them. Stools and Shore aren't really fighters, but they get closer. Okay.
Well, I gave one shiv. I'm hoping you use it.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's see. He's dead, so Gothos. If you're saying something, I can't hear you.
Oh, me? No, I wasn't saying nothing.
No, Gothos.
Yeah, sorry. Just trying to switch. I'm gonna attack the mage one. I assume.
Okay.
Yeah.
They
The
are.
mage just went unconscious. You needed to get the guards.
Yeah. I will say though, if you do
that's the
attack
one
them,
that-
you do have advantage. They're not going anywhere, and it would be automatic crit. Take that
I'll
as you
leave
will.
the unconscious one. I will move here because I have the movement. Still have advantage and attack the living guard. Why did my character sheet minimize so small? Advantage.
I would be a total cheat and say Kobo is technically not in that square, so you wouldn't. But both of those would have hit anyways. You manage to slash into the guard as they're currently being kicked by Kobold's feet, trying to distract them while you attack, which works. You do manage to slash them for 7 points of damage, but they weren't even hit beforehand. So it does hurt, but they're not bloodied. They're not dead. Death isn't at their house with a bouquet of roses.
Yeah, then I'll move to the other side to make it more easy for the rest of my teammates to flank.
More than fair.
And because I'm level 3 and I'm hanging on to my spells, that's the end of my turn.
Ulrich.
I will take him up on that. And I will attack the now flanked guard.
All right. That does hit with a 23. Maybe not a 7.
You're welcome.
As Gotham begins to try to bite this Drow's ankles, this gives Ulrich another chance to strike through, and true. However, not that much, as he does bend over, causing just a small fractured line along his waist-side, which is enough to deal damage, but not enough to take him down.
And then I will give my help action to Roswin.
Oh, thank you.
If you want to move, is my thought.
Yeah, that was planning to do that, but yeah, I'll take your advice. Thank you there.
But yeah, you can now move as a reaction.
Oh,
That's true.
snaps right there. Okay. Sweet.
And that'll be my turn.
All right. Ulrich, after spanking this Drow in the butt with your blade and telling Roswin to get closer, maybe to just see this, Kobold is still on the back of this Drow. Technically on the ground, but you can just let go since they're unconscious. It is your turn.
Okay, I'm going to grab the knife out of the unconscious Drow's hand, whom he tried to stab me with, and since he's lying prone and unconscious, just ram it through his throat.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for attack. You do have advantage.
Apologize for the delay, it's just sitting here.
It's perfectly fine. Go ahead and roll an attack with a dagger.
Okay. Come on, come on. I don't know why my computer's pausing. There we go.
That does hit. Roll again and see if you get it in after 20. You didn't, but
Hits
15 does
against
hit.
unconscious creatures normally do an automatic crit.
Yes.
Because he's unconscious and prone, yeah.
Yes.
So,
All right. Go ahead and add another D6 to that damage pool. Okay, and I want you to go ahead and roll for me an intelligence saving throw. Wait. Before you do, what's your alignment?
neutral good, and can I ask what the intelligence saving throw is for?
Depends on your alignment.
Okay, neutral good.
No, you still have to roll it, I'm afraid.
Okay. No, I was just trying to figure out if my halfling bravery gave me a bonus.
Oh, what specifics?
Hold on a second.
Advantage against frightened.
It's not frightened.
Okay. Intelligence saving throw.
Nice. You managed to strike in and strike true. Thankfully enough, Toulouse has been basically morally and physically torturing this guy. Striking into them, you do manage to knock them down and out. However, you then feel a sensation around your body overlapping and overcoming you. Whatever is about to happen, it happens quickly. So immediately you brace your mind and something comes over it but washes straight through. Nothing happened, but you know that attacking with this blade or using it will cause something to happen.
Gotcha. Don't use this knife again.
Or do. See what happens. Anything else?
Let's see. The mage is dead. I just rammed his own knife through his throat. What was he carrying as a weapon? Was it a staff or a sword or a dagger or a... Not the thing I used, but...
The current thing that you see around him that is currently visible, unless you try to take his stuff while everyone's fighting, is the dagger now in your hand, a large cloak. He does seem to have a strange beaded necklace not a beaded necklace, wristband around his wrist.
Oh, no, I wasn't worried about that. I thought he might have been carrying a staff that I could have grabbed and started swinging.
You currently don't see a staff.
Okay, because the picture shows something I couldn't tell.
Oh, well, let's take a look. Oops.
Right there.
I think I just...
Is that not a staff in... I didn't know, but if it's not a staff in his hand...
No, that's a blade. And also that's
okay.
the guard.
Oh, okay. Then I can't... Okay, yeah. Then, in that case, I just leave the dagger in his throat. I jump up and... See, I already used my attack, so... That's it then.
Blade, you say?
Okay. You go to leave the dagger onto the ground, and then you leap up. As you leap up, you see that the dagger is still in your hand.
Oh, I thought he left it in his neck, but I can't let it go?
I mean, you switch from other hand to other hand, and it moves just fine.
But I meant to leave it in his throat.
Yeah, that's what you thought.
Yeah, okay. I gotcha. I don't really have... If I have a bonus action after getting up, I try to drop it.
Okay. You try to drop it, but for some reason, you don't feel like doing it again.
Okay. Gotcha. That's it for my turn.
Okay.
I don't have another attack, and yeah.
The guard's still up, still running and raring to go. I'll go for the first person that attacked them, which is Gothos, seeing as you still have their comrades' weaponry. They go in for a slashing attack, dealing, if they hit, some substantial damage.
Well, let's see if they hit them, shall we?
13 isn't enough to probably
No.
hit you.
No, sir.
So as they go to swing down, you just move to the side, sidestepping him, and he simply hits the ground. With a loud clang, you do see that some of the stonework underneath his feet does crack. So that probably would have hurt, but hey, you didn't get hit, so what does it matter?
How do you want this shield to work that you gave me that's has HP or whatever? Do I have to get hit for that to go down?
Depends on how much damage the thing takes, but right now you're fine.
Okay. Ha! Oh yeah, you
Frozen.
ain't gonna hit me? Get out of here, stupid drop.
I'm going to move here, and then I'm gonna shoot firebolt from there to the guard.
All right,
Have advantage.
you do.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I helped you.
Oh, right. Okay.
19 still hits, but 15 also would have hit.
And then you add your thing, right? I'll let you roll that one. Yep.
You've been rolling a lot of ones.
It's a D4. It's a 25% chance.
That is fair. And I didn't know it was a D4 for some reason. I thought I knew, but I did not. Roswin, with the firebolt and with Ulrich's help, you do manage to strike the guard. They are not dead, but they are bloodied at this point in time. But they're not dead, unfortunately. Okay. While this is going on, Ulrich basically takes out a penknife and stabs him in the throat. It doesn't do much damage, but it looked cool.
Thank you for the advice. That's it.
Toulouse.
Okay, only one guard left is standing, right?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to go and stab him. Yeah,
All
keep
right.
it simple. Why not? I can make it over there. And if I'm behind him, I have advantage?
No, but because everyone else is surrounding him, you do.
Okay. Alright, I will... Do I have a No, I don't have that. I don't have a short sword on me, do I? No, I only have a dagger right now.
Mm?
No, but we're about to acquire a bunch more equipment.
True. Dagger, and then, I roll again, right?
Yes.
Yay!
26 does hit.
And I roll
You rolled
sneak attack.
2 sneak attacks and 2 damage pools.
I was gonna say that's a crit. That's yeah, exactly. Two. Couldn't you, okay? So question there. Are you gonna do the
like that?
double the damage?
You can double the
or-
damage if you'd like.
Wait, but like I just did, or no?
Yes, the way you did it is fine, but what you can also do instead is double the damage, which would be the initial first one of each, so it would be double 5 and double 8. Or you can keep them like this.
No, just keep it like that. That was fun.
Yeah, that's
And I
fine.
rolled
Do you-
it and it's,
Do you guys want to hear what my favorite, like, rhyme to remember that? Or, like, the official D&D stance towards crits is, if it's dice, roll it twice. If it's a bonus, leave it aloneness.
You're fired.
I like that.
You are all gonna remember that forever.
I'm gonna figure
Yeah,
it
we're gonna know
out.
who said it too.
Toulouse, you managed to strike straight through and true into his side abdomen, slashing him in half. You think, but you're more dexterous, more precise. So you just simply sever what needs to be severed and come back out without a drop of blood on yourself. As this man falls to the ground unconscious and probably dead, as a pool of blood now just trickles around his side, it doesn't look great. You kind of step a little bit back just not to get some of it on your fur. And basically combat is over.
Moot time.
Yeah, and it sucks I don't have my freaking book. Otherwise, I'd be able to do identify. God damn it.
So who needs what?
Why
pretty
can't you?
much?
We think what's
I don't. Well, not my book. I mean my component. So actually, that's something I would probably do is go to the mage and see if I can find what would be the maybe an equivalent to maybe a component pouch or something like an arcane focus.
yeah, we can see what he's got on.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm assuming you're just gonna inspect the bodies and steal what you can?
Mhm.
Even though
Yep.
that was a bad
Yeah.
idea the first time?
I'm gonna look real closely at this dagger. Is it really ornate and jeweled and everything?
It is ornate, it is jeweled, and it looks extremely sacrificial dagger looking.
I'll use
I
my
go
mage
over to
hand
this
to-
lady right over here, and I hold my hand out open and say, "Do you want to look at this for a second? Maybe you know what it is. I don't. You're a real smart lady."
You're playing against her own character. Roll persuasion with advantage, because you complimented the
Is
woman.
it persuasion or deception? Because
Persuasion. Because you don't really
Okay.
know what it is. You just know
no,
it's
but I know
probably
it did
cursed.
something to my mind, and I don't like it, and I can't drop it. So I'm trying to take somebody else to take it. So I'm deceptive.
Fair enough. Yeah, go ahead and roll deception then.
The only reason I ask is because I have actual skill in that.
I had assumed.
I suck.
Well, you did
Oh.
have advantage, so go ahead and roll again.
Oh yeah. Okay, roll again.
That's still not great, but I'll do her insight, which is okay, but not great. That's a 1. Okay. She goes, "Oh, you're not from the Underdark, so she wouldn't backhand compliment other
I
things."
am from the Underdark.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I grew up here. I should be at least semi-knowledgeable about how to find my way around in here.
No.
Part of the reason why.
It all depends if you are from here or on the surface. Otherwise, she's just gonna berate you. So when you tell her, "Can you look at this?" she goes, "Oh, sure, of course. Obviously, someone of your intelligence and upbringing obviously doesn't understand what this is." So she goes to grab the blade, and immediately you clasp onto it. almost offended by her words and pull your hands back.
Okay, sorry.
For an instant, you remember that you were trying to get her to steal the... Well, not steal, but take it.
Take it. Yes.
So... Whatever's going on doesn't seem to be working properly. She was totally willing to take it, that's not the issue. It's just you're not willing to give it away.
Okay.
At least not right now. In the meantime, while you were investigating their bodies, you do find what appears to be an arcane focus of one small rat skull, but the rat skull seems to be crystal-lined. Well, made out of crystal, rather. It has a valued worth of 50 gold, but who are you going to really trade it to right now? So it might not serve you well to sell it, at least not right now.
Well, could she use it as an arcane focus herself?
She would have to
That
take a
would
short
get rid of a lot of
rest.
spell. Oh,
She-
sorry.
She would have to take a short rest to really hone in and focus, but yes, potentially. Not only that, you do see another ornate dagger similar to what Kobo has, but it seems to be red in nature, but you don't unsheath it, I assume?
No, and I was gonna say if you guys don't touch anything else, so we try to put it into something, and you give me a little bit of time to focus on the skull here, maybe I can identify these in a little bit.
That might be helpful.
The other people have what appear to be one long sword, one short sword, one health potion, 2 sets of leather armor, medium. So if anyone's a small creature, they can't wear them, I'm afraid. They do have what appears to be a slicked back comb. That doesn't make sense. It's a comb, but for some reason they wrote slick back comb. And one container of oil, probably for hair. Other than
That's
that,
why it's called a slick back comb. The 1950s greasers would slick their hair back by dipping their comb in all sorts of nasty goo.
yes,
You
Tunnel
The oil
stakes for
form.
life.
you said
Tunnel
2
stakes.
potions of healing?
1 potion of healing.
1 potion. Regular, I'm assuming, right?
Regular. 2 blades, 1 long sword, and 1 short sword. 2 sets of medium-sized armor, leather. So if you're a small creature, you can't really wear them. But if you want to carry them with you, go for it.
Before anyone touches anything, and I do a quick detect magic, because I can do that without material components, and I just want to scan through everything first to make sure what exactly is magic or not magical, including the weapons that you just described.
Come over
yeah.
here there.
Nothing
See
is
if it's
magical
falling
except for the blade that is on the dead priest, maybe, and Kobo's blade that seems to have a resonating necrotic energy around his palm, which is where the blade currently is.
Oh, the blade is back at Kobol's hand.
It
I
never
don't
left-
think I like this. It won't go away.
Oh, who told you to go touching some random guy stuff? Okay.
It was in the middle of a fight.
All right. So do you guys want to start discussing who wants to take the weapon stuff? I'll see if there's any. Is there anything like a pouch or anything that where I can fit in with Mage Hand, the one that is magical?
The one on the dead priest?
Yeah. Is there like something that I can pull together so I can just not grab it with my bare hand?
Yeah, you could use Mage Hand to grab onto and remove it from said body. You can detect that there's magic on it, but it seems wild and furious. More than likely elemental magic.
Right. So is there anything? I mean, if not, then I'll just tear some cloth off of the corpse's body and then try and wrap it. I just don't want to touch it with my bare hands.
Okay. While it's floating, you're gonna have to have someone else basically wrap it, but it would involve 2 hands, or a very weird looped knot, and then wrapping it around with another Mage Hand.
Since I've already holding one dagger, I'll use my other hand to just drape the cloth over and around the dagger, making sure not to touch it as she's holding it with her mage hand.
It's gonna be awkward, but it's doable. You do so. What do you do with it now?
Can I just pick it from the ends, from the cloth itself, not touching the weapon?
Sure.
Do I feel anything different?
You pick the blade from the tipped end of said cloth, and nothing seems to be wrong.
Okay, so I'm just gonna keep it like that until we can go somewhere and have a short rest. So I figured that we want to keep moving, so I'm just trying to pick some stuff up, but you guys deal with the rest of the stuff here.
All right.
If somebody's talking, their mic is on dead.
Ralta, I think your mic might be shorting out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
Amen.
She
on
was
earth as it
speaking
is in heaven.
binary there.
Yeah, I don't know. I was here. It sounded like Satan.
It sounded like binary. It was like.
Fucking demon.
The
was
old
about to-
fashioned, internet.
I was about to give it the engineer blessing.
I mean, one could argue that all technology is the spawn of Satan.
Fair enough.
You filthy Luddite.
That's a very interesting point of view, but I'm not 100% sure the science backs you on that, good sir.
It's fine. Well, awkward mic session aside, Antidote comes over to Kobo and then simply states, do you mind if I examine your blade?
Please do. Examine it far away from me.
It doesn't seem like you want to give it away, but I might be able to do something. I will have
I
to
think
drape
like that.
something over
It
your
messes
hand,
with
though.
my head. I don't like it.
Hello.
Hi,
There you-
welcome back.
There you are.
Hi.
Okay, Relta, you were
I'm
saying.
glad that my exorcism has served you well.
Yeah, I heard most of it, and yeah, it did. It got that thing right out me.
All right, you were saying, Relta?
I don't even remember. Oh,
That's
geez,
fair.
I'm so bad. My attention span is like,
That's all good.
yeah, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was probably pointless and like, hey, I don't know.
Oh,
I forget.
Last thing
What
you
were we
forgot
doing?
was not pointless, so I will not say that.
We'll come back.
What it
We'll
was
come
was
back.
the
Once it
perfect way to
comes-
get rid of this curse on me, and for whatever reason, she can't remember it now.
yeah. All right, Antidote basically states he has to drape something over your hands, if that's all right, Kobo.
Yes.
All right. I think your magic thing is still up, Roswin. So when he states that, he takes out a flask of something in his mask, and you detect that I think you detected, what was it again? Celestial magic around him, well, around the mask. That is now removed from the mask and now in the vial. He then uncorks it, and then begins to put it upon your hand that is wrapped around it on your palm, almost like a salve. And then he corks it again, and he only has half the vial left, and puts it back into the mask and latches it. And then goes, try putting it on the ground now.
Set it down. Pull my
You
hand
set
away.
it down, pull your hand away, and for some reason, it is almost in your hand again, but the salve begins to sleek it out of your hand. Almost as if a secondary entity is removing it from you rather than you trying to remove it yourself. And eventually it does slip out of your palm and out of your reach.
Okay. I take a step or two back from it, feeling relieved.
Alright, wasn't really sure if that was going to work, so... Well, I'm not going to get this sample again, but... I could probably find another, eventually.
Sample of what, sir?
This vial I used. It's still in his mask, but he just gestures towards the now imperceptive latch.
Okay. But, yeah, still, sample of what, sir?
Right. He then comes over and begins to. He goes to try to grab the blade, but it's still near your feet. If you want to try to grab it yourself, Kobo.
No, I do not want to grab it myself. Thank you.
Okay. So he grabs it and then goes, All right, this thing is cursed and will likely latch on to anyone that uses it the first time. So I suggest no one attack with it. He then goes to put it back on the ground, and luckily enough, he does. All right, so glad I was right. Just no one attack with it, but we could probably sell it to someone as long as no one actually uses the thing. He comes back to pick it up, and he picks it up just fine. Does anyone else want it? I don't really use this type of weapon, but I suggest you don't use the weapon anyways.
I mean, I can hold on to it.
He hands it over. He first wraps it with cloth and then hands it over. He does, however, take the hilt from the dead magician, Drow, and gives that to you as well, in case you need it, or in case if you decide to sell it, it comes in a pair, and hands it over.
By hilt, you meant scabbard?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, no. I'm just making sure I understood you correctly. I wasn't trying to correct you.
I mean, it's fine. My grammar is always awful anyways. But besides that, he does give you the blade
I do
back.
the same thing. That's why I didn't want to.
I just forgot the word.
I'm gonna snag the so-called vial of oil, whatever. Since I had the detect magic, I want to be sure there's nothing magical in that vial. It was just a plain old oil for hair, right?
You detect magic upon it, and you can tell that it is not magical, but it could probably be used as a makeshift grease spell if you were in a pinch.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Does it smell?
It smells like, the best way I can describe it is it does smell, but it smells like a strange odor. How should I put it?
I'm looking for certain points of acrid acidity, which would tell me whether or not it was a flammable material.
Yes.
Okay.
It
that's all I
smells
know.
like a diluted diesel fuel.
In that case, yes. So instead of grease, we can also light it on fire.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. My thought was that I could use the vial afterward, so I wanted to empty it. But if we can use it as a makeshift grease, I can always, freaking put things on fire. So it's not like.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's fine. I'll put it into my stuff. So I'm putting down the things that I've got, and I just wanted to be mindful of the time too, because I know that last time we passed a certain time and it was a bit late. So.
Yeah, we're probably going to end it here unless someone has something to do.
What is this?
Behind you.
Behind everyone. Right here in this
Behind everyone
corner.
seems to be what appears to be a bench, but it's weird. It's strange. Why would a bench be down here?
Trapdoor. No.
Does anyone try?
I will.
It is a bench. You can sit on it.
Oh.
How
Sure.
Do we want to take a short rest here so that Miss Pendragon can attune to her new focus?
You don't know my last name, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
No one knows my last name. That's
I
just
couldn't
the way
remember
the-
your first name. Sorry.
Yeah, all good.
Roswin. Sorry, so that
Roswin.
Roswin.
Yep, all
Okay.
good.
How thick is the bench?
The bench is thicker than it should be, honestly, but it's roughly about half a foot actually. I mean, it shouldn't be that thick, but who knows what's down here and needs a seat. Do you try to move it?
Sorry, my internet's going in and out.
It's fine. Do you try to move the bench? The bench's thickness is half a foot.
So, could I somehow break this?
Probably with your lead pipe.
I'm trying to move it.
I would like to do that.
Move it or break it with your pipe.
I want to get a great club again.
Okay. Well, you decide to break it with your metal pipe that you could probably use as a great club, but it's metal, it's not wood. So you begin to bash into it, and you do make a makeshift club again. Congratulations. Inside it appears to be a strange scroll that is now broken in half. Ripped in half. Probably more than half, if I'm going to be honest. But half is half.
Pull out the pieces and hand them to whoever.
Okay, you take out the pieces and hand them to whoever. You just put them in a pile and just say, here, you can look at this. Surrounding the pieces was likely a makeshift box containing the parchment inside, but that's probably broken now, and who cares? You have a piece of metal. And wood. And you can hit people with them.
Yeah.
Genius.
So, rounding about and likely taking a short rest here, so anyone that's hurt or gets stuff from a short rest does manage to heal and repair. That being said, we'll likely start off with whatever's in that note, and maybe, just maybe, we'll find out where the children went as we end the session for today.